Good evening and welcome to Byju's IAS exam prep. Am I audible and visible? Good evening, Isha. Good evening, all of you. Am I audible and visible? Yeah, I'm fine, Isha. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Anushka. Let some more people join in and then I'll begin. Uh, okay, Isha. We'll discuss about that. Maybe you can mail me. Then I'll be able to discuss that. Isha, let some more people join in and then I'll begin. Hello, Ramandeep. Yeah, that is my mail address. Oh, no, Ankita. Definitely not. Tomorrow cannot be the last class for world history. We'll be continuing it on Monday and Tuesday also, right? And I've gone a little slow actually, but it is okay. I've requested for extra sessions. I hope you're okay with that. Namaste, Jai Singh. Did the Napoleonic War affect the Ottoman Empire? Apurva, the French Revolution, the principles of the French Revolution affected even the people of the Balkans. That is the reason why once the Turkish Empire became weak, you have the subject nationalities, the minorities, the Christian minorities who wanted to achieve their independence from the Ottoman government. So it affected, of course, the principles of the French Revolution affected. Right. And of course, he conquered Egypt, and temporarily for a brief time he conquered Egypt. So so even northern parts of Africa were under the control of Napoleon for a brief period of time. Okay, can we continue this topic? Yesterday, thank you, Prajneet. Now, this is a run-up to the First World War topic. Please understand this topic, Eastern Question, Alliance System of Bismarck. This is related to the topic called World War One. So when I discuss this and then we come to World War One, you'll be able to easily relate to the topic because we have done the details even before we came to the topic per se, the topic of World War One as such. So Eastern Question, I told you yesterday that in the Balkans, that is southeast portion of Europe, a kingdom was established sometime in the 13th century. That is in the region of Asia Minor, where the European continent and the Asian continent meet. And the person who established this kingdom was a person called Osman. And he was a great warrior. He began to expand his kingdom rapidly. And then under his successors, you have this kingdom, which came to be called as the Ottoman Empire. So the Ottoman kingdom became the Ottoman Turkish Empire. Basically, the rulers were of Turkish race. And in the 16th and 17th centuries, it was at its peak. It was at its zenith. It included large parts of Northern Africa, North Africa, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Iraq, Iran, Arabia, including southeast portions of Europe, including the Balkans. But in the beginning of the 19th century, by 1815, the Ottoman Turkish Empire had become very, very weak because of a series of weak rulers. And you have European countries who began to interfere in this area. They wanted to take advantage of a weakened Turkey, right? So they had conflicting interests. Countries like England, France, Austria, Russia, including Germany and Italy after the unifications. So they had conflicting interests in this area. They said that they wanted to help the Christian minorities in that area, but they, apart from wanting to help them, but actual reason was that they had selfish interests. At the same time, we have these Christian minorities who wanted to break free from the control of the Ottoman Turkish government. All this created a very complicated question called the Eastern Question. And the developments in this area, as you can see here, the developments in this area, this is the huge Ottoman Turkish Empire, which gradually shrunk. And by 1924, it was only confined to the Republic of Turkey. The core of the nucleus of the Ottoman Turkish Empire became the Republic of Turkey. That was only in 1924. But once upon a time, it included all these areas. So here you have the Ottoman Turkish Empire becoming weak. Number two, European countries interfering in this area for selfish interests, and they had conflicting interests in this area. Then we have the subject Christian minorities who wanted to break free from the control of the Turkish government and achieve their independence. All this led to a very complicated question called the Eastern Question. And the developments in this area led to a few wars between Turkey and Egypt, wars between then the Crimean War. You have war between Turkey and Egypt, the Crimean War, the Russo-Turkish war between Russia and Turkey, and finally, the developments in this area became the immediate reason for the outbreak of World War I. So today, I would like to finish this Eastern Question topic. It's a small topic. Then we will discuss about the alliance system of Bismarck, how the alliance system comes into existence, the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente, because these two groups, the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente, went on to fight World War I. So you need to understand how this alliance system came into existence. And at the end of this session, I will definitely tell you what to remember, because don't get lost in the maze of information. The main aspect is important, and I'll tell you what to remember at the end of this session. So you see here, we have already begun this topic. The problems which we have created because of the weakening of Turkey are known as the Eastern Question. So this is the Balkans. The Balkans consist of the southeast portions of Europe. So these are the Balkans. Now you have these Christian minorities, Bulgars, Croatians, Serbians, Albanians, Romanians. They were all living in the Ottoman Turkish Empire once upon a time, right? And then once Turkey became weak, they wanted to achieve their independence. So we have looked at it. And of course, the gradual rise of the Ottoman Turkish Empire. It was established by Osman or Othman in the 13th century. It became a military state under him, and it began to expand at the cost of our neighbors. And by the 16th and 17th century, it was at its peak, included all these areas, Balkans, Asia Minor, northern parts of Africa, a huge amount of the Persian Gulf, etc. But then by the 18th century, it began to decline drastically. And by 1815, that is the beginning of the 19th century, by 1815, Turkey was called the sick man of Europe. Right. Now, we looked at the conflicting interests of European countries in this area. We looked at Russia yesterday, Russia, Austria, England, France, Italy, and Germany. Do you want me to, recap this part? Okay, anyway, let me do it so that, we can go in a flow. Russia, what was Russia's interest in this area? I told you Russians belong to the Slav race, and they also followed the Orthodox Catholic religion. Just as the Christian minorities in this area, in the Balkans, used to belong to the Slav race, and they also follow Orthodox Catholic Church or religion. So Russia was behaving as the big brother to all the Slavs in this area. Further, Russia wanted access to the Mediterranean Sea, so that once she gets access to the Mediterranean Sea, she will be able to trade with other European countries. And therefore, she wanted to have a foothold in the Balkans. She wanted to conquer some areas in the Balkans, particularly the Straits of Bosphorus and Dardanelles. Right? So that was her main interest in this area. And apart from the Straits of Bosphorus and Dardanelles, she wanted some more territories if she could capture them. And once Turkey became weak in the beginning of the 19th century, Russia felt that she is a natural heir to the Turkish Empire. No, it was Tsar Nicholas I, the Tsar of Russia, the Emperor of Russia, who called Turkey as a sick man of Europe. And Russia felt she is a natural heir to the Turkish Empire because Turkish Empire had become weak. Once it collapses, Russia would take over that area. That's what Russia felt. Then we come to Austria. I told you Austria had a very short coastline. The river Danube passes through her territory, and the only way she could access the Black Sea, for trading purpose, you can see this is the Black Sea. The only way she could access the sea was through the river Danube. But she felt that Russia might go on to control the river Danube. And if Russia controls the river Danube, she will not have access to the sea for trading purpose. At the same time, the Pan-Slav movement, that is all the Slavs should be one together under the leadership of Russia. That is called Pan-Slav movement. So the Pan-Slav movement, which was pioneered by Russia, also made her wary. So here Austria wanted to see that Turkey remains strong and united. If Turkey becomes more and more weaker, then Russia will take advantage of a weakened Turkey and establish her control over the river Danube. So Austria wanted to see that Turkey remains strong and united. This is Austria's interest in this area. England's interest. What was England's interest in this area? England had colonies in the east. Like, for example, India was a colony of England. So England feared that if Russia gets a foothold in the Balkans, then Russia might threaten her colonies in the east. So, and once the Suez Canal was constructed, the conflict or the tension between England and Russia became aggravated. Right? The conflict became aggravated. The tension between these two countries became aggravated. So England's interest in this area was to see that Turkey remains strong and united, so that Russia doesn't take advantage of a weakened Turkey. Further, we have France. France also had commercial interest in the east, and for religious reasons also she was interested in this area. I told you yesterday that in the Balkans you have holy places connected with Christianity, like Jerusalem, Bethlehem. Bethlehem is the place where Lord Jesus Christ was born, and it is considered as holy by all the Christians throughout the world. So France was interested in this area not only for religious purposes, but also to secure her commercial interest in the east. And finally, Italy and Germany also dabbled in this area, began to interfere in this area in order to get a share of the spoils. So these are the countries who had conflicting interests in this area, right? Yesterday I have discussed this. Then we come to the revolts in the empire, in the Turkish Empire. The first revolt and achieved its independence was Serbia. In 1830, Serbia became independent from the Ottoman Turkish government. And taking the example of the Serbs, you have the Greeks revolting. The Greeks began to agitate and revolt, to achieve their national independence from the Turkish government. And first, they began the revolt in 1821. The Greeks, they fought bravely for 6 years against the powerful Ottoman Turkish government. And still, the Turkish government was not able to put down the Greek revolt. And I told you that the Turkish Sultan requisitioned the services of his vassal, the Egyptian Sultan, the Pasha of Egypt. So Egypt was was a feudatory of the Turkish Sultan. Right. So you have the Turkish Sultan seeking the help of the Egyptian king, and the Egyptian king or the Pasha of Egypt sent his son, who was a great warrior. His name was Ibrahim. And Ibrahim, the son of the Sultan of Egypt, committed a lot of atrocities on the Greeks, inviting the anger of the European countries, England, France, Russia. And they threatened Turkey that if Turkey doesn't give autonomy or independence to the Greeks, then they will blockade Turkey through their navy. So they threatened a naval blockade, England, France, and Russia. Though Turkey promised these European countries that she will give independence to the Greeks, the Sultan did not do anything like that. That resulted in the Battle of Navarino. In the Battle of Navarino, England, France, Russia defeated the Turco-Egyptian fleet. So Turco-Egyptian fleet was defeated. And of course, you see, when this war was going on, England withdrew herself from Balkan affairs. She stopped interfering in this area. And that policy of England is called policy of splendid isolation. I'll explain that policy of splendid isolation of England later, right? Now, as of now, just understand that England voluntarily withdrew from the Balkans and the war was continued by Russia. Russia alone fought against Turkey and managed to defeat Turkey. So we have the Treaty of Adrianople, which was signed. By this, Greek was given independence, but kept, so she was recognized as autonomous, but kept under Turkey, right? And two areas, Moldavia, Wallachia, you can see here, Moldavia, Wallachia, were taken away from the Turkish empire and kept under Russia. So Russia got a foothold in the Balkans, where she was able to secure Moldavia and Wallachia. The Greeks protested because they were fighting for their independence, though they were guaranteed autonomy, but they still were kept under Turkish government. So ultimately, by the Treaty of London in 1831 or 32, we have Greeks being given their independence. So the second people to achieve their independence from the Turkish government were the Greeks. So you can see here, first were the Serbs. The Serbs achieved their independence in 1830, and the Greeks achieved their independence in 1832. And what you need to remember is Russia got a foothold in the Balkans. She got Moldavia and Wallachia. This was not to the liking of other European countries. And I have told you yesterday that whenever Russia managed to get a foothold in the Balkans, you have all the great powers, England, France, Austria, Germany, etc. They joined together and they neutralized Russia's gains. They took away or snatched away Russia's gains. So how it happened, we will come to that. I stopped here yesterday. Let me continue the story. So then you see we have a war between Turkey and Egypt. So two wars were fought between Turkey and Egypt. Let us understand the reasons for that. You see, the vassals under the Turkish Sultan realized that the Turkish government has become weak because Serbia became independent, Greek became independent from the Ottoman Turkish Empire. So obviously, the vassals, they got a message that the Sultan, the central government, has become weak. That resulted in the Egyptian Pasha, the king of Egypt, demanding independence for Egypt. And Syria has a reward because he had helped earlier in fighting against England, France, and Russia. So he demanded Syria as a reward and also independence for Egypt. Now, the Turkish Sultan obviously refused to give independence to the Egyptian Sultan, right? And that resulted in a war. Turkey declared war against Egypt. You see here on your screen, Turkey declared war against Egypt. And Russia voluntarily came to the assistance of Turkey. Russia told Turkey, don't worry, we will help you. So Russia came to the assistance of Turkey. And with the help of Russian assistance, Turkey was able to defeat Egypt. You see, Egypt was defeated. And we have the so-called Treaty of Unkiar-Shelesli, which was signed. You don't need to remember these treaties. Just understand the story. At the end of this session, I'll tell you what to remember. Okay, can you raise your hands? Did you understand? I'll tell you what to remember at the end of this session. Just understand the story, how this seesaw battle goes on in this area. Now, Turkey, with the help of Russia, was able to defeat Egypt, right? And then what happened? A treaty was signed known as the Treaty of Unkiar-Shelesli. According to this, Russia promised help to Turkey whenever Turkey was in danger. Russia promised help to Turkey whenever Turkey was in danger. This is number one. Number two is Turkish government opened the Straits of Dardanelles to Russian warships. So Russia could use the Straits of Dardanelles. So earlier she had got Moldavia and Wallachia. Now she got the Straits of Dardanelles. It was to be open to Russian warships only. So Russia has increased her influence in the Balkans. Earlier she had got Moldavia, Wallachia. Now she has got the Straits of Dardanelles, which was her intention also. Now this was a diplomatic victory for Russia. So Russia helped Turkey to defeat Egypt and extracted concessions from Turkey. Now, other European countries did not like this because Russia got a foothold in the Balkans. Earlier, she had got Moldavia, Wallachia. Now she has got Dardanelles. They were waiting for an opportunity to neutralize Russia's gains, to snatch back Russia's gains. And that opportunity arose after a few years when another war broke out between Turkey and Egypt. This is the second war. In 1839, this war broke out. You can see here. When this war broke out between Turkey and Egypt, Suddenly, three countries began to support Egypt. This is to see that Russia doesn't come to the assistance of Turkey and extract more concessions from her. So, who are the three countries? You can see here: England, France, and Austria. England, France, and Austria jumped to the side of Egypt, and they helped Egypt in defeating Turkey. Right now, what happened? We have a new treaty which was signed, Treaty of London. This Treaty of London set at naught the Treaty of Unkiar Selassie. So it reduced it to zero. Whatever gains Russia had made earlier, by defeating Egypt, you remember this? She had got Dardanelles and warships. It would be only open to Russian warship, the states of Dardanelles. So that was neutralized. So it said it not the Treaty of Unkiar Selassie. No warships to enter the Dardanelles. No warships to be enter the Dardanelles. So this was to be enforced by England, France, and Austria. So who was the loser here? Russia was the loser. England was the gainer, and Turkey was saved from further territorial disintegration. Did you understand? This was a diplomatic victory for England. Are you there with me? Right. So here, whatever Russia had made gains was neutralized by the other countries. So the status quo was now maintained. These are the two wars between Turkey and Egypt. Then we come to another war, the Crimean War, on your screen. So this Crimean War was also fought in this area, though it was, the Crimean War happened in the Crimean Peninsula of Russia. But then it was fought by European countries, who had conflicting interests in the Balkans. Now we'll understand this. So the Crimean War was the first great European war after the Battle of Waterloo. But Waterloo happened in 1815. You all know this, where Napoleon was finally defeated. So the most serious war, after the Battle of Waterloo was this war, the Crimean War. So what are the reasons for the Crimean War? So here, number one, political unrest in the Balkans, rivalry between Britain and Russia, and the religious question, which was the immediate reason for the Crimean War. Now look here. What is political unrest in the Balkans? Earlier, we have two people who had gained their independence from the Turkish government. That is Serbia and Greece. So Serbia and Greece had become independent. Now, taking the inspiration of Serbia and Greece, you have the other Christian minorities within the Turkish Empire who began to agitate for independence, began to revolt for independence. The Albanians, the Romanians, and the Bulgarians. So this is political unrest in the Balkans. They wanted independence also. Romanians, Bulgarians, Albanians. This is number one. Number two is rivalry between Britain and Russia. So after Greece achieved her independence, you have Russia's interference in this area became more and more. Russia began to interfere more and more in this area. And Tsar Nicholas I of Russia felt that since Turkey has become weak, Russia is a natural heir to Turkish territories. And England, England was also afraid of growing Russian influence in this area because she felt that her commercial interests in the east would be threatened. So you have growing tension between England and Russia in this area. This is number two. Did you understand? So political unrest in the Balkans, where other Christian minorities wanted to achieve their national emancipation from the Turkish government. Second is, of course, growing tension between England and Russia in this area. Thirdly, we have the religious question. Understand this. This is the immediate cause for the outbreak of the Crimean War. Now you see here, and I'll make a drawing. Understand this. We have the Church of Nativity. Okay, the Church of Nativity is the place where Lord Jesus Christ was born. So this is what the Christians believe. Lord Jesus Christ was born. And imagine this is the church. Imagine this is the Church of Nativity. This church had two doors. You have a main door. This is the main door. And you have a side door. So I'll take this as a side door. Now, there were two groups of monks in this area, in the Balkans. We have the Greek monks. Understand this. We have the Greek monks and the Latin monks. Now, the Latin monks were Roman Catholics. I'll write RC in short. And the Greek monks followed the Orthodox Catholic religion. Right. Now, the Greek monks No, all the Christians used to go and pray in this church, the Church of Nativity, where Lord Jesus Christ was born. The Greek monks used to enter this church through the main door. They had the key of the main door. So they'll open the main door with that key, the great key or the big key, and they'll enter the church and do their mass and prayers. Whereas the Latin monks, and you please understand, Greek monks were supported by Russia. Russia was acting as the big brother to all the Orthodox Christians in that area. So Russia was acting as the big brother to all the Greek monks. And then you have the Latin monks, that is the Roman Catholics, who also used to enter this church for prayers, but they were denied entry through the main door. They had to enter this church through the side door. Did you understand? They used to enter this church through the side door, the Latin monks. And these Latin monks or the Roman Catholics demanded equality of right of entry. They began to demand that they should also be allowed to enter the church through the main door. Why should we enter through the side door? Let us also enter, give us the right to enter through the main door. And this demand of the Roman Catholics or the Latin monks was supported by France, right? So France wanted to get the support of Roman Catholics within her boundary. So she began to support the Roman Catholics in this area. Then, of course, we have England, who supported France, and Turkey did not want Russia to act as the big brother to the Orthodox Christians in her territory, in the Ottoman Turkish Empire. So Turkey supported England and France. This is the immediate reason for the outbreak of the Crimean War, religious question. Did you understand, all of you? Can you raise your hands? Did you understand? So Roman Catholics used to enter through the side door. The Greek monks used to enter through the main door, and the Roman Catholics or the Latin monks demanded right of entry through the main door. You see here, I have put a chart here, Puja, and others who have not understood. You see here, 1854, we have dispute regarding the custody of holy places in the Turkish Empire, Jerusalem and Bethlehem. You see, this is the Church of Nativity. On your screen, you see, this is the Church of Nativity where Lord Jesus Christ was born, according to popular belief, right? And all sorts of Christians belonging to various churches. When I say all sorts of Christians, I mean the various churches. They belong to various churches. They all used to go and pray here. Now, the Latin monks used to enter the church through the side door. You see here, I made monks, door, and countries. So, Roman Catholics or the Latin monks used to enter the church through the side door, whereas the Greek monks used to enter the church through the great door or the main door, and they were supported by Russia. And the Latin monks or the Roman Catholics were supported by France, England, and Turkey. Did you get me that? So why Turkey supported England and France? Because she was refusing. Turkey did not like Russia acting as the big brother to all the Greek monks in that area. Therefore, she supported England and France. This is the beginning of the Crimean War. It was fought in Crimean Peninsula, right? So this is the Crimean War. So England, France, Turkey versus Russia, and I have made a passing reference to this. You remember when I did when I did the unification of Germany, I spoke about it. Even when I spoke about unification of Italy, I spoke about it. You see, when the Crimean War broke out, Cavour sent 15,000 to 18,000 Sardinia Piedmont troops to support England, France, and Turkey. This is the Crimean War. So you see here on your screen. See here on your screen, please. This is the Crimean War. See, this is Crimea, right? This is Crimea, and the war took place there. Therefore, it is called Crimean War of Russia. It is an island of Russia. Now, when the war was going on, Russia expected help from Austria. You see here on your screen, next to Russia, you have Austria, and Russia is here. Russia asked help from Austria, but Austria opted to remain neutral, and this angered Russia. So, Russia expected help from Austria, but Austria remained neutral. N is neutral. Okay. Now, when the war was going on, we have this wonderful lady called Florence Nightingale. So, Florence Nightingale, along with a team of nurses, began to provide, first aid and even hospitalization to the wounded soldiers, irrespective of which side the soldiers were wounded or they were dying. They required immediate medical attention. you have a team of nurses under Florence Nightingale who rushed to the war front, and they picked up the soldiers on stretchers and they took them to the tents which had been installed by them, and they gave first aid to those wounded soldiers, irrespective of which side they were fighting. And if necessary, they were also taken to hospitals for hospitalization. And thus, the Red Cross Society was born. The Red Cross Society was born during the Crimean War. And this was also the first time that the press and the telegraph played a very important role in influencing the course of events. So you have journalists going to the war front and reporting live as to what was happening. And people in Europe and other parts of the world were able to understand the course of the war, what was happening actually at the war front. Now, this is the Crimean War. All of you clear? This is the Crimean War. Now, what happened in the Crimean War? Obviously, Russia was defeated. Russia was defeated, right? Russians were defeated, and you have the new Tsar Alexander II. He was forced to sign the Treaty of Paris. In 1856, we had the Treaty of Paris. So all the delegates landed at Paris after the Crimean War. So what are the provisions? What was the decision taken in the Paris Peace Conference, which ended the Crimean War, the Treaty of Paris? Number one, look here on your screen. Russia was deprived of Moldavia, Wallachia. So Moldavia, Wallachia, which had gained earlier, that was snatched away from Russia. And of course, those two very soon joined to form a new country called Romania. Number two, Black Sea was neutralized. So Black Sea was under the control of Russia earlier. Now that was neutralized, and it would be open to all the merchant ships of all nations. So merchant ships of all nations could utilize the Black Sea. Earlier, Russia was alone controlling the Black Sea. The river Danube was internationalized. Again, river Danube could be utilized by everybody, all the countries. Russia cannot prevent anybody from using the river Danube. Then Russia was, of course, given back Crimea. Then further, you have all the countries agreed not to interfere in Turkey, in the internal affairs of Turkey. And at the same time, the Sultan promised to treat his Christian subjects in a humane manner. This is the Treaty of Paris. So remember this, Russia lost whatever she had gained earlier. She lost Moldavia, Wallachia. The Black Sea was neutralized, and all merchant ships belonging to all countries could utilize the Black Sea, as well as the river Danube. The river Danube was internationalized, and Crimea was given back to Russia. This is the Paris Peace the Treaty of Paris. Okay, right. Then we come to results. What are the results of the Crimean War? So Turkey was temporarily saved from territorial disintegration. So Treaty of London, I told you, Nikhil Rathore, Treaty of London is, by the Treaty of London, England, France, Russia approved the independence of Turkey, independence of Greece. They approved the independence of Greece, right? So so the main thing you have to remember is in 1830, Serbia became independent. In 1832, Greece became independent. Don't worry about this Treaty of London and all that. Not very important. I have mentioned it because in the context I have to mention it, what happened as such. But then just remember those two areas became free from the Turkish government. So fifth and sixth point, Ankita, I told you that all the countries agreed not to interfere in the internal affairs of Turkey. Okay, and at the same time, you have the Sultan promising all the other European powers that he will treat his Christian minorities within his empire in a humane manner. He'll treat them with respect, and he'll not harm the Christian minorities within the Ottoman Turkish Empire. Right, this is what it is. Now we'll come back. What are the results of the Crimean War? First of all, you see, Turkey was saved from further territorial disintegration. Then British interests in the Near East were protected. British interests were protected. That of Russia were undermined. Russia lost whatever foothold she had gained in the Balkans. And of course, you have Tsar Alexander promising to bring about reforms within his country. But then most important thing is this. It led to estrangement. What is estrangement? Anger, differences, tension between two countries, between these countries. You have Austria and Russia. Estrangement between Austria and Russia. Why? Because Russia had expected help from Austria during the Crimean War, but Austria had opted to remain neutral. So Russia became very angry with Austria. And then you have some amount of friendship between Russia and Prussia because some help was given to Russia by Prussia. So some amount of friendship between Russia and Prussia. Now you see the criticism. How do we know some criticism about the Treaty of Paris? So it gave a fresh lease of life to Turkey, but it could not stop its disintegration further. Separation of Moldavia and Malaysia. Separation of Wallachia from Moldavia was short-lived because they joined together to form a new country called Romania. Russia repudiated the Black Sea treaty clauses. So you remember when I did unification of Germany, the last war which Bismarck was what he fought against France, the Franco-Prussian War. Right. Once France was defeated, and Russia had remained neutral. Right. Russia had promised neutrality to Bismarck. So once France was defeated, we have Russia repudiating the Black Sea clauses of the treaty, and she established her control over the Black Sea as well as the naval base of Sevastopol. Then the Sultan did not introduce any reforms in the Balkans. He said he'll treat his Christian minorities in a humane manner, but he continued to commit atrocities on them. So in other words, the Paris Treaty or the Paris Peace Conference, which brought the Crimean War to an end, did not put an end to the Eastern question. There was still simmering tension in this area. Did you understand? So treaty gave a fresh lease of life to Turkey, but it could not stop its territorial disintegration. Separation of Moldavia from Malaysia was only short-lived because they later joined to form a country called Romania. And then Russia tore up the clauses of the Treaty of Paris, and she established her control by 1870 over the Black Sea as well as the naval base of Sevastopol. You see, this is the naval base of Sevastopol. I'll show you this. You see, this is Sevastopol. So she established her control over the Black Sea as well as Sevastopol by 1870. And then, of course, you have Sultan not introducing any reforms in the Balkans. So this is about Crimean War. So I have explained to you Turkey-Egypt war, 2 wars were fought, and then the Crimean War. Clear? I'm not Florence Nightingale. I'm not very sure about which country she belonged to, Viber. I'm not very sure about that. I'm sorry for that. I'm not very sure about which country she belonged to, Florence Nightingale. Maybe you can Google and find out. I never bothered till now, till you asked me. Right, but that's the time when the Red Cross Society was born under Florence Nightingale. Seems a very British or Irish name, but I don't want to guess. Maybe if you Google, you'll be able to find out. Now let us come to another war which took place in this area, the Russo-Turkish War. Understand this? The Russo-Turkish War. Now, why did this war take place? Understand this. You see, Russia was very angry with Turkey because in the Crimean War, England, France, and Turkey had joined together and defeated Russia. And Russia was waiting for an opportunity to teach a lesson to Turkey. Right? Because Turkey had fought against her in the Crimean War. Now, there are 2 main reasons as to why, 2 to 3 main reasons as to why the war between Russia and Turkey took place. Number 1 is the Turkish Sultan continued to commit all sorts of atrocities. His government, the Turkish government, continued to commit all sorts of atrocities on the Christian minorities. And Russia couldn't have kept quiet for that reason. This is number 1. So Russia couldn't have kept quiet. Right. Number 2, Russia entered into an agreement with Austria. Now you see here on your screen, Russia entered into an agreement with Austria. Where is Russia? Russia is here. Where is Austria? Austria is here. Now Russia told Austria, if you want, you have a free hand in Bosnia-Herzegovina, because we would like to have a free hand in Romania and Bulgaria. You see here, Russia is telling Austria, where is Bosnia-Herzegovina? These are areas contiguous to Austria, next to Austria. You see, this is Bosnia and this is Herzegovina. So Russia is telling Austria, you have a free hand in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we will not object. Whereas we would like to have a free hand in Romania as well as Bulgaria. And these are next to each other, very next to Russian territory, Romania and Bulgaria. So Russia struck a bargain with Austria. You can have a free hand in Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Russia would like to have a free hand in Romania, Bulgaria. But the immediate reason for the Russo-Turkish war was the Bulgarian revolt. You see, the Bulgarians began to revolt for freedom. They wanted freedom from the Turkish government. This was in 1876. You have a big revolt in Bulgaria. People revolted against the Turkish government. And the Turkish Sultan used all sorts of atrocities to put down the Bulgarian revolt. And it was violently suppressed. Now, we have a British politician called Gladstone, a British statesman, politician called Gladstone. He writes a pamphlet called The Bulgarian Horrors and the Question of the East. So he writes a pamphlet, and in that pamphlet, which was published in all the newspapers of Europe, he educated the people of Europe how Turkish government is committing all sorts of atrocities on the Bulgars and the people of the southern Turkish empire who were wanting independence. And that resulted in sympathy for the Bulgarians and others because they were all Christians. So throughout Europe, people are very angry with Turkey because the Turkish government is suppressing the Christian minorities in the Turkish empire, particularly the Bulgars and others. And taking advantage of this sentiments, anger against Turkey, Russia declared war against Turkey. So Russia declared war against Turkey. And please remember, she wanted to take revenge against Turkey because Turkey had also defeated her in the Crimean War along with England and France. And Russia was able to easily steamroll Turkey. She defeated Turkey in the Russo-Turkish War. And we have a treaty which was signed, the Treaty of San Stefano. On your screen, please. I seek your attention, all of you. The Treaty of San Stefano was signed. Now, what are the provisions of the Treaty of San Stefano? You see, after the Crimean War, Russia had lost everything. Moldavia, Wallachia, Black Sea came to be neutralized. River Danube was internationalized. Everything she had lost. Now, after defeating Turkey, she again re-established her foothold in the Balkans. On your screen, Sultan had to recognize the independence of these areas. Serbia, Greece, already they had become independent. Then Montenegro, Romania, and Bulgaria. So these 5 areas, Sultan had to recognize the independence of all these 5 areas. Then Russian control over the Black Sea and the straits became complete. So she re-established her control over the Black Sea and the straits of Bosphorus and Dardanelles. She also came to control the church, the Orthodox Church in that area. So she became the big brother to all the Greek monks. So she became the protector of all the Orthodox Christians in that area. And the Turkish forts along the river Danube had to be destroyed. This is the Treaty of San Stefano. So Russia again got a foothold in the Balkans. Are you there with me? Russia again got a foothold in the Balkans. So Vaibhav Joshi, I've already explained. The Crimean War, I have already explained, right? I've already explained. The main immediate reason is the religious question. The main reason is the religious question, which led to the outbreak of the Crimean War. Now we'll come back here. So here, Russo-Turkish War, Turkey was defeated, Treaty of San Stefano was signed, Russia got a foothold in the Balkans. So here, you have Russian control over the Black Sea, the straits of Bosphorus and Dardanelles established. At the same time, she became the protector of all the Orthodox Christians in this area, right? And she could have a free hand if she wanted to in Romania and Bulgaria, because that was her intention. Now, the Treaty of San Stefano made other countries, other European countries, wary of Russia, because again she got a foothold in the Balkans. And England and Austria felt that Russia might exploit Bulgaria for her interests. So, she might dominate the new Slav state of Bulgaria. So here, England told Russia, please understand this, England told Russia, the Eastern question cannot be decided by one country because it affects all of Europe. Eastern question cannot be decided by one country. It should be whatever gains Russia has made through the Treaty of San Stefano should be approved by other European powers. Did you understand? All of you. England told Russia that whatever gains Russia has made in the Balkans has to be approved by other European countries, because the Eastern question cannot be decided by one nation because it affects everybody. Now, Austria supported England because she thought she can get a share of the spoils. In case there's a war between England and Russia, then she can get a share of the spoils. So England was supported by Austria. Russia initially refused. She said, if we have made gains in the Balkans by defeating Turkey, why should other European countries approve our gains? So she refused to submit her gains to the approval of other European powers. And therefore, England and Austria threatened a war against Russia. And Russia did not want a war at this point in time. She agreed. She agreed that whatever gains she has made in the Balkans would be placed before other European countries. So this is called the Concert of Europe. What is the meaning of Concert of Europe? The main European countries in the 19th century, the main European countries like England, France, right, Germany, Italy. These are all important countries in the 19th century, in the late 19th century. So all those countries, I believe, should approve Russia's gains in the Balkans. This is what England said. And ultimately, you have the Congress of Berlin, which was called. So you have Bismarck telling all these powers, you come to Berlin, elect as a honest judge. He calls himself as a honest broker. You see, in 1871, Germany already had become independent. Rather, she had become unified. And Bismarck tells all these European powers, you please come to Berlin and I'll act as an honest judge. And let us, solve this problem of the Eastern question amongst ourselves. So all these delegates went to Berlin. And we have the Congress of Berlin, which happened in 1878, the Congress of Berlin. Did you understand what I just now told you? No, Vaibhav, I said, Treaty of San Stefano was signed between Russia and Turkey. And Russia made some gains in the Balkans. And we have seen what are the gains she has made. England and Austria were afraid that that Russia might establish her control over Bulgaria, right? And therefore, England tells Russia that whatever gains you have made in the Balkans should be approved by other European countries or the Concert of Europe. And when Russia refused, a war was threatened. And ultimately, Russia agreed to submit whatever gains she has made in the Balkans before the important European countries. And you have the Congress of Berlin, which took place at Berlin. Right? Who was the president of this Congress of Berlin? This happened in 1878. It was Bismarck. Now, please understand, the seeds of the First World War are sown here. I repeat, the seeds of the First World War are sown in the Congress of Berlin. Therefore, it becomes very relevant. Now, understand this. We have the Treaty of Berlin, which came up, which was brought into existence in the Congress of Berlin. So, what are the provisions of the Treaty of Berlin? Number one, so all the European countries, who are the main attendees? You see here, England, France, Russia, Austria, Germany, Italy, they all met in the Congress of Berlin to see whatever gains Russia has made should be approved or not. Okay, so she has made gains by defeating Turkey, and she has signed the Treaty of San Stefano with Turkey. But then she has been forced to see that whatever gains she has made is approved by other European powers. So what are the provisions of the Treaty of Berlin? What all did these great powers decide in the Congress of Berlin? Understand this. Number one, independence was recognized for Serbia. So all these great countries recognized the independence of Serbia, Montenegro, and Romania. This is number one. Number two, Bulgaria was divided into two parts. Bulgaria was divided into two parts. You have Bulgaria and Eastern Rumelia. Major part of Bulgaria was kept under Russia. Right? Major part of Bulgaria was kept under Russia, and Eastern Rumelia was kept under Turkey. So big Bulgaria divided into two parts, one part under Russia, another part called Eastern Rumelia under Turkey. Now, though Bulgaria was reduced in size, she was declared as a tributary of Turkey. She was still declared as a tributary of Turkey, as a vassal of Turkey. Thirdly, Macedonia was kept directly under Turkey. So Turkey could directly rule over Macedonia. This is number three. Then number four, you see here, Austria was given the right to occupy and administer. She was not allowed to annex. You see, I have mentioned it very clear, not permitted to annex. Austria could occupy and administer Bosnia and Herzegovina. Right? This is number next. Then England took away Cyprus. So Cyprus was snatched away from Turkey by England. France was given away Tunisia. So Tunisia came to be occupied by France, Tunisia and Northern Africa. Then Russia retained Bessarabian Kars. An area called Bessarabian Kars was retained by Russia. and Russian control came to an end over the Black Sea, the Straits of Bosphorus and Dardanelles, and the Church, Orthodox Church. So Russia's control ceased over the Black Sea. I'll use another color, the Straits of Bosphorus and Dardanelles, and the Orthodox Church. So whatever gain she had made again by the Treaty of San Stefano was neutralized by the great powers. And of course, Germany and Italy did not get anything. They did not take anything. These are the provisions of the Treaty of Berlin. In the Congress of Berlin. Are you there with me, all of you? So please understand, the gist is this: whatever gains Russia had made. So every time, I told you in the beginning of this particular topic, whenever Russia made gains in the Balkans, all the powers joined together and neutralized Russia's gains, took away Russia's gains. So here, independence was recognized for Serbia, Montenegro, and Romania. That is number one. Number two is Bulgaria was divided into two parts. One part of Bulgaria under Russia, another part of Bulgaria called Eastern Romalia under Turkey. And Bulgaria was still kept as a tributary of Turkey. Then Austria could occupy and administer Bosnia and Herzegovina, not annex. She was not permitted to annex. Number four is England took away Cyprus, France took away Tunisia, and Russia retained Bessarabia and Kars. Russia lost her hold over the Black Sea, the Straits of Dardanelles and Bosphorus, and of course the Orthodox Church. So these are the important provisions of the Treaty of Berlin. Now look here. Let us criticize this settlement. The Congress of Berlin upset the settlement of San Stefano. We all know this. It upset the entire Treaty of San Stefano. It ignored the principle of nationalism. How do we say this? It ignored the principle of nationalism because it divided Bulgaria into two parts. One part of Bulgaria under Russia, another part of Bulgaria under Turkey. So the Bulgars were not taken into consideration at all. It ignored the principle of nationalism. Bulgarians wanted independence, but then Bulgaria divided into two parts. One part kept under Russia, another part kept under Turkey. And at the same time, Austria was given the right to occupy and administer Bosnia and Herzegovina. So that is again, negating the principle of nationalism. They never asked the people of Bosnia and Herzegovina under whom they would like to be under, or whether they would want national emancipation. Austria came to occupy and administer Bosnia and Herzegovina. So the principle of nationalism was ignored. The Turkish Empire was dismembered. You see, England and Austria helped themselves. They snatched away a huge amount of territory from the Turkish Empire. England took away Cyprus. Austria was given Bosnia and Herzegovina to administer. So they did not stop the further territorial disintegration of the Turkish Empire. Then the transfer of Bosnia and Herzegovina angered Serbia. Please understand, the transfer of Bosnia and Herzegovina to Austria angered Serbia because, you see, Serbians wanted a greater Serbia. They wanted to bring all the Slavs. Please understand here, this becomes relevant. When I come to World War I, the immediate cause is here, the outbreak of the First World War. See, Serbia wanted a greater Serbia. She wanted to attain what is called a greater Serbia by bringing all the Slavs together under her umbrella. Like, for example, Serbia, Croatia, Montenegro, Dalmatia, right? All those areas she wanted to be under her. But here, what has the Congress of Berlin did? It has given away Bosnia and Herzegovina to Austria, not to Serbia. So this made Serbia angry, right? Then next, Russian acquisition of Bessarabia offended Romania. See, Bessarabians basically were Magyars. They belong to the Magyar race, like the Romanians belong to the Magyar race. But here, Russia was given away Bessarabia. Instead of Bessarabia being part of Romania, it was under Russia, right? And of course, you have Macedonia given to Turkey for direct rule. Macedonians were Christians. Macedonia is a part of Greece. Alexander the Great belonged to Macedonia. So they were Greeks and Christians, moreover. But here, Macedonians continued to be under Turkish tyranny, and the Turkish Sultan and his government continued to commit all sorts of atrocities on the Macedonian Christians. So the Treaty of Berlin or the Congress of Berlin did not solve the problem. Okay, it in fact further complicated the whole issue in the Balkans. You see here, why the Congress of Berlin is considered a landmark in the history of Europe. Understand this, please. Why is it considered a landmark? You see here, number one, the seeds of the Great War were shown here. The seeds of the First World War were shown here. Britain, instead of stopping the further territorial disintegration of the Turkish Empire, helped herself to huge amount of Turkish territory. So Britain did not stop the further disintegration of the Turkish Empire. Russia, having lost her foothold in the Balkans, turned towards the Far East and Asia. So she had tried many times, and she did get a foothold in the Balkans many times. But every time, all the European countries joined together and neutralized Russia's gains, to snatch away Russia's gains. She got so fed up that Russia decided to focus herself on the Far East as well as Asia. And therefore, the theater of Anglo-Russian conflict shifted to these areas, to Asia as well as the Far East. Did you understand? From Europe, it shifted to Asia. And that's where, yesterday I told you, you have the British company, the English East India Company here in India. They were wary of a Russian advance towards India. And that is the reason the British began to interfere in Persia, Iran, then Afghanistan, and also conquered Sindh in 1843. Because what was the British calculation? If Russia attacks India, this is the direction in which Russia will attack. You open up your map and look at it. So you'll yourself come to know. So the British, anticipated that if Russia attacks India, it will be through or via Iran or Persia, and then Afghanistan, and then onwards to India. That's why they began to interfere in these three areas and also conquered Sindh. They began to interfere in Afghanistan, resulting in Anglo-Afghan wars. Okay, right. Then Macedonia became a bone of contention between Turkey and the Balkan powers. You see, the Balkan states, and two wars were fought over Macedonia. The Congress of Berlin, please understand here, the Congress of Berlin had kept Macedonia under Turkey for direct rule. We have seen this. You see on your screen? So here, Macedonia, you see this point here? Macedonia was given to Turkey for direct rule. And this was not liked by other European powers. As a result, two Balkan wars were fought. I'm using this page here. What are the two Balkan wars? So here, Macedonia was given away to Turkey for direct rule. Right. Now, Balkan states did not like it. They formed the Balkan League. We have the so-called Balkan League, which was formed. So who are the members of this Balkan League? We have Serbia, Greece, Montenegro, and Bulgaria. This is called the Balkan League. The four countries came together and they declared war against Turkey. This war took place for Macedonia. This is called the First Balkan War, 1912. 1912, First Balkan War. First Balkan War. In this First Balkan War, what happened? We have all these countries joining together and defeating Turkey. Serbia, Greece, Montenegro, Bulgaria joined together and defeated Turkey and took away Macedonia from Turkey. And who had kept Macedonia under Turkey? The Congress of Berlin. So this resulted in a war where Turkey was defeated and Macedonia was snatched away. And Bulgaria took away a huge portion of Macedonia. Look here on your screen. Bulgaria took away a huge amount of Macedonia. Now, Serbia told Bulgaria, please share a little bit of Macedonia with us also. Bulgaria refused. Look here, Bulgaria took away a huge amount of Macedonia and refused to share any part of Macedonia with Serbia. So Serbia became very angry. Now what happened is, Serbia formed another league. Serbia, then we have Greece, Montenegro, and Romania. These four countries came together, okay, and declared war against Bulgaria. This is called the Second Balkan War, 1913. 1913, Second Balkan War, and Bulgaria was defeated. So two Balkan wars took place over this, over Macedonia. Did you understand, all of you? Ankita, Balkan League was formed to win back Macedonia from Turkey. Okay, Balkan League was formed for that reason. So here, two Balkan wars took place for this reason. Yeah, so two Balkan wars took place in 1912, 1913. Further, you see here, the treaty brought complete estrangement. Understand this, please. It brought about complete estrangement or friction or tension or differences between Serbia and Austria. Serbia and Austria became enemies. Can you please point out what is the reason? Vaibhav, Ankita, all the students in the class, I have just not explained to you. Why was Serbia angry with Austria? Because in the Berlin Congress, yeah, very good. Not Macedonia. Vaibhav is right. Bosnia Herzegovina were given away to Austria for administration. And that angered Serbia. Did you understand? So that angered Serbia. So Serbia became angry with Austria. And then Russia was angry with Germany. Why? Because in the Berlin Congress, Bismarck supported Austria and not Russia. Bismarck supported Austria and not Russia. So Russia became very angry with Germany. And this led to the division of Europe into two rival camps, Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente. How Triple Alliance and Triple Entente comes into existence, I'll explain to you in just a moment's time. Just hold on. Did you understand? This is the Eastern question. Now, what do you need to remember is, you need to remember the main thing is how every time Russia made gains in the Balkans, those gains were neutralized by other European countries, and ultimately Russia focused herself on Asia and the Far East. And the theater of Anglo-Russian conflict shifted from Europe to Asia. This is number one. Number two, I want you to remember is this. Serbia, the enmity between Serbia and Austria. What is the reason for that? The reason is in the Berlin Congress, Bosnia and Herzegovina were given away to Austria for administration. And this angered Serbia. And then you see, in 1908, Austria went ahead and annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina. She was not supposed to annex, but she annexed it. Austria annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina. And therefore, there was a movement in Serbia. There was a movement in Serbia to take back Bosnia and Herzegovina from Austria. Did you understand? And a number of secret societies were established. Understand this, please. In 1908, Austria annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina. This was against the provisions of the Congress of Berlin. So, but either way, she went ahead and annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina. So, therefore, a movement was begun in Serbia to see that Bosnia and Herzegovina is taken back from Austria, and a number of secret societies were established. A number of secret societies came to be established in Serbia. Right. One such secret society was a society called Union of Death. Union of Death, or what is called Black Hand Society. This was called Black Hand Society. What was the aim of this secret society? Union of all the Slavs. They wanted to unite all the Slavs. Union of all the Slavs under the umbrella of Serbia. Now, Bosnia and Herzegovina are directly ruled by Austria. And what Austria did is she appointed her, a prince, her Yuvaraja, a prince by name Franz Ferdinand, as the governor of Bosnia. So we have a person called Franz Ferdinand. Franz Ferdinand, he was appointed as the governor of Bosnia. Bosnia-Herzegovina, right? And he was the prince of Austria. Tomorrow he's going to be the emperor. He's the heir apparent. He's the heir apparent to the Austrian-Hungarian throne. So Franz Ferdinand came to Sarajevo. Sarajevo is the capital of Bosnia. So he came to take charge as its governor. He had been appointed as the governor of Bosnia. He comes to Sarajevo with his queen, with his wife, to take charge as the governor of Bosnia. Now, a member of this secret society, Union of Death, his name was Gavrilo Princip. His name was Gavrilo Princip. You have Serbia giving arms, supplying weapons to this fellow. So Gavrilo Princip was a member of this Union of Death or Black Hand Society. Serbia provided arms and ammunition to this Gavrilo Princip, and he was waiting in the crowd, with his pistol, a loaded pistol. He was waiting in the crowd. And as soon as the motorcade came nearby, so you have the Prince of Austria, Franz Ferdinand, and his queen sitting in that open car, and it was coming slowly. It was open car, so what happened is, at point blank range, this Gavrilo Princip opened fire, killing instantly Franz Ferdinand and his queen. Okay, just hold on. Then what happened? Austria came to know the complicity. Austria came to know that Serbia was complicit in this murder, that she was involved in this murder of her prince. So what Austria told, when did this murder happen or assassination happen? June. Understand this? June 28th, 1914. Franz Ferdinand was assassinated by Gavrilo Princip. And of course, Gavrilo Princip was arrested. And then what happened is, Austria gave an ultimatum. To Serbia, telling that you hand over, you arrest the culprits involved in the murder of our prince, and you hand those culprits to us within a month. Otherwise, we are going to declare war. Now, Serbia refused to take responsibility. Serbia said, we don't know, we have nothing to do with the murder of your prince, though Serbia was involved. Right? And 1 month time got over. On July the 28th, exactly 1 month later, we have Austria declaring war on Serbia. And then we have the alliance system of Bismarck which became alive. I'll come to that in now. The alliance system which had been established by Bismarck suddenly became alive, and we have a regional war, a war which could have been just confined to Austria and Serbia, became a global conflict, became a European war, and then and other parts of the world were also indirectly involved in this war. So this became the First World War. A regional conflict was blown up into a global conflagration only because of that reason. And how alliance system of Bismarck played a role here, I'll come to that in some time, in just a moment's time. And did you understand? Now, Franz Ferdinand was the heir apparent of Austria-Hungarian Empire. He'll be the emperor of Austria in due course. He was the Prince of Austria. And he came to Bosnia, to Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia, to take charge as its governor. And that's where he was assassinated along with his queen. Now, Nilanjana, I told you just now, the animosity between Serbia and Austria, and of course between Russia and Germany. Why Russia and Germany? There was friction between these two countries as well as Serbia and Austria. And of course, the general picture of Eastern question. What all happened in this area? The immediate reason for the outbreak of the First World War happened here, right? This is the one. This is the immediate reason. Immediate reason is where you have Austria annexing Bosnia-Herzegovina, though she was not allowed to, she was not supposed to, and then Franz Ferdinand coming and taking charge as its governor, and he was assassinated by a Serbian national. So Austria declared war on Serbia after giving it an ultimatum. And when that ultimatum was not fulfilled, Austria declared war on Serbia, and then we had the alliance system of Bismarck suddenly becoming alive. We'll explain that now. Are you there with me? So remember that. Now let us come to the alliance system of Bismarck. Alliance system of Bismarck. So this is Bismarck on your screen. Did you understand Eastern question, all of you? Okay, Ankita, just hold on. The Balkan Wars, you see this? This is the Balkan War. First Balkan War, Serbia, Greece, Montenegro, Bulgaria. They fought and defeated Turkey. Macedonia was taken away by Bulgaria, and she refused to share it with Serbia. Even a small part of Macedonia, she refused to share it with Serbia. And therefore, Serbia formed another alliance and declared war against Bulgaria. And Bulgaria was defeated. Right. Now, when I come to World War I, you will not tell that, Nilanjana, just hold on. When we discuss World War I, you yourself come to know what I'm trying to tell you. What was Serbia asked by Austria? Benica, I said Austria gave Serbia an ultimatum of 1 month to arrest the perpetrators of that crime, that is the assassination of their prince, and hand them over to Austria within a month. But Serbia refused to take responsibility and denied her involvement. And after 1 month, Austria declared war on Serbia. Okay, right. Now let us come to the alliance system of Bismarck. Now you see here, Bismarck is the person responsible for establishing the Triple Alliance. He was the person responsible for establishing the Triple Alliance. So I will be explaining to you how the Triple Alliance came into existence. Then once Bismarck was dismissed, he was dismissed as Chancellor in 1890. Once he was no more there on the scene, these secret diplomatic military alliances, please understand, these are secret diplomatic military alliances. No country, no other country knew about this. And these alliances had been established by Bismarck, targeting France. He had targeted France. Basically, why he targeted, I'll tell you in just a moment's time. So once the terms and conditions of these secret alliances came out into the open, we have a rival alliance which comes into existence called the Triple Entente. So this was an answer to the Triple Alliance, the Triple Entente. And these are the two groups of countries who fought the First World War. Therefore, it is necessary to understand how this alliance system came into existence. Okay, can we move on? Can we start here? Okay, now let's look here. So here, so you see here, all of you, we have 3 wars which Bismarck fought, isn't it? We have Bismarck, Prussia, defeated 3 countries to achieve our unification. One is Denmark. So Denmark was defeated by Prussia and she snatched away Schleswig-Holstein from Denmark. Then she defeated Austria. 21 German states were under the control of Austria. Austria was defeated in the Battle of Sadowa. And thirdly, France was defeated by Prussia in the Battle of Sedan. And once France was defeated in the Battle of Sedan, we have the unification of Germany. So the Prussian king or emperor became the emperor of unified Germany. And you have a new country called Germany, which was born in 1871. After defeating France, what did Bismarck do? You remember that topic, unification of Germany? You see here on your screen. This is the red color area. This is Alsace and Lorraine. Alsace and Lorraine were snatched away from France by Germany and attached to Germany. And France was made to pay a penalty or a war indemnity of 5 million francs. France had to pay 5 million francs to Germany as a penalty, and Alsace and Lorraine, rich in iron ore resources of France, was snatched away by Germany. And the Prussian king, if you remember, the Prussian king, Wilhelm I, was crowned Emperor of Unified Germany on the soil of France in the Palace of Versailles, in the Hall of Mirrors. He was crowned Emperor of Unified Germany, Wilhelm I. So this was a national humiliation for the French. And Bismarck, after unifying Germany, understood that France is a very powerful country, very proud country. From in medieval times, she was such a powerful country, and we have seen that. If France gets cold, Europe sneezes, isn't it? So here, Bismarck anticipated that France will not keep quiet. She will not tolerate this insult to her, and she will want a revenge against Germany. So after unifying Germany, Bismarck's policy, please understand, was to see that France remains alone. There should be no friends for France, because if he was very sure in a one-to-one fight between France and Germany, if Germany and France go to war, 100% he was sure that Germany is going to win against France. But if France joins hands with other countries, then it may be trouble for Germany. Germany may not be able to defeat France and her allies. So he wanted to keep France isolated in Europe so that France doesn't have friends with whom she can join and defeat Germany and extract her revenge. And this particular policy of Bismarck inaugurated the so-called secret diplomatic military alliances of Bismarck. This was to put France under cold storage. He wanted to put France in quarantine. Quarantine means cold storage, so that she remains alone. Did you understand? This is the introduction to this topic. Clear? So here, Ananya, just focus on what I'm doing. I'll come to that. I'll be repeating Franz Ferdinand's murder when I do World War One. So just hold on. Okay, then you'll probably you'll understand what I was speaking about. So just be in the moment now, please. Try to be in the moment, whatever I'm doing now. So 1871 to 90. Macedonia was given away to Turkey for direct rule, Vaibhav. Right. Greece had achieved an independence in 1832, minus Macedonia. But then later Macedonia was given away to Turkey. Right. Now we'll come back here. So 1871 to 90 is called the era of Bismarck. And he became a champion of peace. Understand this? He became the champion of peace in Europe. Why did he champion the peace as such? Because this was necessary to consolidate German unity. With great difficulty, Germany had defeated three countries: Denmark, Austria, and France. And it had costed a lot of money, men, and material resources for Germany. It was necessary to consolidate German unity. And therefore, he became a messiah of peace. He began to preach peace throughout Europe. But at the same time, as I told you, he was afraid that France might join hands with some other country or countries and defeat Germany, and that way extract her revenge or take a revenge. So he began to think about the possible friends of France. Who could be the possible friends for France with whom France can join together and defeat Germany? First of all, he thought about England. Understand this? First of all, Bismarck thought about England. Can England and France join together? No. According to Bismarck, no. Why? Because England and France have been enemies throughout history. We have seen that. They are trade rivals as well as political rivals. And throughout history, they have been fighting against each other. And moreover, England was following a policy of splendid isolation. I'll come to that in some time. Just hold on. What is this policy of splendid isolation followed by England? I'll explain that in a moment's time. So he discounted England and France coming together. Now, what about France joining hands with Italy? Now, even if France and Italy join together, even if France joins Italy, he considered Italy as insignificant, too small a country to be bothered about. Even France joins Italy, then he was sure he can defeat both of them. Germany can easily defeat France and Italy. According to Bismarck, the only possible allies of France could be Austria and Russia. You see here, this is what he thought about. France might join hands with Russia and Austria, and among these two, mostly Russia. France and Russia should not come together. He was very sure that Austria might not join France. Why? I'll come to that in some time. So he wanted to prevent a Franco-Russian alliance against Germany. Now, did you understand? He wanted to prevent France and Russia coming together, so that if France and Russia come together, it will be problems for Germany. So he wanted to prevent a possible Franco-Russian alliance. Now, as you all know, after defeating France in 1871, France became a republic. France became a republic. Third time she became a republic. You remember, first time in 1792, second time in 1848, and third time in 1871. So this was the third time France was becoming a republic, whereas in all other countries of Europe, you have monarchies. Now, when France became a republic, this was not liked by the monarchs of Europe, because France had become a republic. Therefore, taking advantage of that, Bismarck entered into a treaty with two other monarchies, that is Russia and as well as Austria-Hungary. And that led to the establishment of the so-called Dreikaiserbund. You see here, I'm explaining to you how the Triple Alliance came into existence. Very easy topic, understand. It's very easy. Formation of Triple Alliance. Number one, you see, first of all, we have France become a republic in 1871. And this was not liked by the monarchs of Europe. Taking advantage of that, he proposed that three monarchs come together. That is the monarchs of Austria, Hungary, and Russia. You see here on your screen. So we have Russia here, Germany is a monarchy, Austria-Hungary is a monarchy, and Russia is a monarchy. So three monarchs came together, right? But please understand, he never revealed his mind to his co-partners. He never revealed his mind to Austria or Russia, why he wants to come together, right? And this was directed according to Bismarck against France. This was an alliance against France, and France did not know about it. And basically, it was directed against France. Now, please understand, no actual treaty took place. No actual treaty took place. This was only a formal agreement, and this was to be renewed once every 3 years. This was in the year 1872. What is this Drei Kaiserbund? Drei in German language, Drei means three, Kaiser means emperor, and Bund means league. So thus this becomes League of the Three Emperors. This becomes League of the Three Emperors. So he brought the emperors of three countries together. For what purpose? To maintain boundaries, maintenance of boundaries, settlement of disputes arising from the Balkans, settlement of problems arising from the Balkans, and if there are any revolutionary movements in Europe, suppress them. Any revolutionary movements against the monarchies, suppress them. So this is the Drei Kaiserbund. It was to be renewed once in every 3 years. So again, I repeat, in 1871, France became a republic, and taking advantage of that, Bismarck established the Drei Kaiserbund, where all the three monarchs of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia came together because they were hating a Republican France. This is number one. Are you there with me? This is the Drei Kaiserbund. Okay, I'm explaining to you how the Triple Alliance came into existence. Now, please understand, I'm coming to that, Vaibhav. Just hold on. You see, the unity of the Drei Kaiserbund received a temporary setback. You see, I mentioned this here. The unity of the Drei Kaiserbund received a temporary setback when in the Berlin Congress, Bismarck supported Austria and not Russia. So he supported he supported Austria and not Russia, and it received a slight setback. Why he supported Austria and not Russia, I'll tell you in a moment's time. Just hold on. Vaibhav, are you there with me? You pointed it right. You pointed it out right. Sir, but Austria is rival of Russia. I know that. But then in the Berlin Congress, you have Bismarck supporting Austria and rebuffing Russia. He rebuffed Russia or ignored Russia. And Russia became very angry with that. So the Drei Kaiserbund, the unity of the Drei Kaiserbund, received a slight setback at the Berlin Congress. You just remember this much now. I'll come to that. I'll answer your question or doubt in a moment's time. Just hold on. So three emperors came together. Then we have the establishment of the dual alliance by Bismarck. On your screen, the establishment of the dual alliance. Dual alliance is between Germany and Austria. On your screen. You see here, the question is, understand this. Vaibhav, I'm answering your question. Why did Bismarck, all of you, please understand, why did Bismarck support Austria in the Berlin Congress? I told you Austria was given away, Bosnia and Herzegovina for administration. And he ignored Russia. And whatever Russia had made gains earlier was neutralized by Bismarck. Why did Bismarck support Austria and rebuffed Russia in the Berlin Congress? Now, please understand, Austrians are Germans by blood. Austrians are also Germans by blood. And therefore, Bismarck was naturally inclined towards Austria. That's why he supported Austria, because Austrians are also Germans by blood. If you see, if you know this, Hitler was an Austrian by birth, and by default a German for that reason, because Austrians are Germans by blood. So he was naturally inclined towards Austria. In the Berlin Congress, that's why he supported Austria. Though you need to understand this, though it would have been advantageous for Germany to enter into a treaty with Russia, because Russia was a huge country, the biggest country in the world. And it would have been to the benefit of Germany to have an alliance with Russia. But he ignored Russia and he befriended Austria. Now, and moreover, the German emperor and the Russian emperor were cousins. The German emperor, Wilhelm I, and the Russian Tsar were cousins. Even then, Bismarck befriended Austria and ignored Russia. So what happened is Russia became very, very angry with Germany. I'm explaining to you the reason for the dual alliance between Germany and Austria. Now, Russia began to engage in anti-German propaganda within Russia. You have the Russian newspapers writing against Germany within Russia. So Russia began to engage in anti-German propaganda within her boundaries. At the same time, she mobilized her troops on the German and Austrian border. So you see here, Russia has increased her troops here on the Austrian and German border. So she has increased the strength of her army on the German and Austrian border. And there was a possibility that Russia might declare war against Germany as well as Austria-Hungary. So viewing these developments, Germany got very, very scared, wary rather. She was wary of Russia. And she wanted to enter into an alliance with Austria. This is what Bismarck thought. Let us now enter into an alliance with Austria because it is necessary. Why did he feel it is necessary to have an alliance with Austria? You see, according to his calculation, I wanted to understand this. Bismarck's aim was what? He wanted to prevent a Franco-Russian alliance, isn't it? He did not want France and Russia to come together. He wanted to prevent this. This should not happen. Now, if Russia, look at his calculation. If Russia defeats Austria, if Russia attacks Austria, keep on looking at the map, please. Right? Now, if Russia attacks Austria, 100% Austria will be defeated. According to Bismarck, Russia can easily defeat Austria. Then Austria might join hands with France. Then Austria might join hands with France. She might not want to have an alliance with Germany at that point in time, once she has been defeated by Russia. Right? So therefore, and at the same time, if France and Russia come together, then Germany would have to contend with the victorious Russia and a hostile France. So there's a possibility where France, Austria, and Russia might to come together. And Germany will be having to fight three of those countries together. Did you understand? So he played on the insecurities of his Tsar, Wilhelm I. He told Wilhelm I, sir, let us form an alliance with Austria. Because if Russia defeats Austria, then Austria might join France. And if France and Russia come together, then we have to contend with these three countries. So he convinced his king, Wilhelm I, to agree for this alliance. And thus the dual alliance came into existence. Did you understand what I just now told you? Hello, all of you. Did you understand? Many of you, hello? Can you raise your hands? I repeat, if Russia attacks Austria, Austria will be defeated. And that point in time, Austria might join France. And there's a possibility where if Russia and France come together, then Germany will be not only fighting against France and Russia, but also Austria. So three countries might join together against Germany. So this way he played on the insecurities of his emperor, Wilhelm I, and thus the dual alliance came into existence. This is the dual alliance. You see here on your screen, this is the dual alliance which comes into existence. It was defensive in nature. It was aimed against Russia. The terms were kept secret up to 1887. Please understand, these are secret diplomatic military alliances. The terms of this alliance between Germany and Austria were kept a secret. You see here, Dreikaiserbund he has established. Three emperors have come together, Germany, Austria, and Russia. And now he has formed a separate alliance with Austria, and Russia doesn't know about it. Now look here. What are the terms of this alliance? Each of them agreed to help each other if Russia attacked either of them. If Russia attacks Austria, Germany will come to the assistance of Austria. Similarly, if Russia attacks Germany, Austria will come to the assistance of Germany. This is number one. Each agreed to help the other if either was attacked by Russia. This is number one. Number two, if any other power, namely France, attacks either of them, then the other will maintain neutrality. So if France attacks Germany, Austria will remain neutral. Similarly, if France attacks Austria, Germany will remain neutral. So if any other power, namely France, attacked either party, the other would remain neutral. If Russia and France join together, then Austria and Germany will fight together. This is the dual alliance. Did you understand? See, Vaibhav, you need to understand this, that this is his calculation. If Germany defeats Austria, then Austria might join hands with France, right? And she might not want to join with Germany at that point in time, after she has been defeated. So he told his king, let us have an alliance with Austria now. And because tomorrow, after being defeated by Russia, Austria might not want to join hands with Germany. She might want to join with France. And then Germany might have to contend with three countries: France, Russia, and Austria. So this way, he convinced his king, and the dual alliance came into existence. Did you understand? Clear? Are you there with me? This is the dual alliance. So if Russia attacks either Germany or Austria, they are going to help each other. Austria and Germany will help each other. If France attacks either Austria or Germany, the other will remain neutral. That is, if France attacks Austria, Germany will remain neutral. If France attacks Germany, Austria will remain neutral. If Russia and France come together, Germany and Austria will fight together. This is the dual alliance. Okay. No, because they were Russia was a much stronger country than France, so they have to help each other to defeat Russia. But if France attacks either of them, then they can tackle one country can tackle France. They don't need to help each other. This is the dual alliance. Then we come to the Dreikaiserbund. You remember here, the Dreikaiserbund had to be renewed once in every 3 years. It had come into existence in 1872. And even after more than 3 years, it had not been renewed. We have a new Tsar who comes to power in Russia. His name was Tsar Alexander III. Tsar Alexander III. And you see, it is wrong to be alone in international politics. You should always have friends. Alexander III was wary of the growing isolation of Russia. Russia did not have friends. And moreover, he hated France because France was a republic. And therefore, Bismarck, taking advantage of the insecurities of the Russian Tsar, proposed to the Russian Tsar, why don't we renew the Dreikaiserbund? And the Dreikaiserbund was renewed. Right? Please understand, Bismarck's ambition is to see that Russia is always kept interested. Because if Russia feels that she is alone, she might join hands with France. Right? So he wanted to prevent a Franco-Russian alliance. So he told Russia, let us renew the Dreikaiserbund. So what will Russia feel? Okay, we are part of the Dreikaiserbund. We have friends, nothing to worry. So the Dreikaiserbund was renewed. According to this, if any of them, so three emperors again came together. So according to them, if any of them was attacked by either France or England, the other two would maintain benevolent neutrality. If England attacks either of them, the other two will maintain benevolent neutrality. And then lastly, we have the triple alliance. The dual alliance became a triple alliance. Understand this. How did the dual alliance become a triple alliance? Earlier, you have alliance between Germany and Austria. That is dual alliance. Now, Italy joined Germany and Austria, forming the triple alliance. Understand this. How did this triple alliance come into existence? This is the work of Bismarck. On your screen, you see northern parts of Africa. We have Tunisia. Tunisia. You see, this is Tunisia. Tunisia was desired by both France and Italy. So France is here and Italy is here. Both of them wanted Tunisia. Colonies, race for colonies, protectorate, spheres of influence. So both of these countries, France and Italy, were interested in Tunisia. In the Berlin Congress, Bismarck gave away Tunisia to France. He told France, you take away Tunisia. So he was the he was the president of the Berlin Congress. So he gave away Tunisia to France. Italy became very, very angry, indignant. She became indignant or angry with not with Bismarck, but with France. So because she has lost Tunisia, she thought she'll get something. She did not get anything. And Italy was alone in international relations. So what Italy did is she joined hands with Austria. But because of Bismarck's diplomacy, she joined the dual alliance. Already Bismarck told that we are having an alliance. Germany and Austria are having an alliance. Why don't you join us? So Italy joined Germany and Austria. Thus was formed the Triple Alliance. And please understand, by giving away Tunisia to France, created one more enemy for France in the form of Italy. Please understand this. By giving away Tunisia to France, he created one more enemy for France in the form of Italy. Italy became very angry with France because she was now controlling Tunisia. Now, please understand, he established a Dreikaiserbund where three emperors came together: emperors of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia. So what was the background behind the Dreikaiserbund? France had become a republic, and all the monarchs of Europe hated Republican France. So taking advantage of that, he formed the Dreikaiserbund. Then he formed the dual alliance between Germany and Austria. Austria and Germany came together, right? And this was directed against Russia, and Russia herself doesn't know that. Then he renewed the Dreikaiserbund, right? And then he formed the Triple Alliance when Germany, Austria, and Italy came together, and this was directed against France. And keeping the terms of the Triple Alliance a secret, Bismarck signed the reinsurance treaty with Russia. Look here, Bismarck was a fellow who could juggle many balls at the same time and keep everybody interested. So he was keeping Russia interested. He has renewed the Dreikaiserbund, and then he forms the reinsurance treaty with Russia to prevent a Franco-Russian alliance. At any cost, Russia should not feel alone. So what did he do in 1887? He signed the reinsurance treaty to prevent a Franco-Russian alliance, where Germany and Russia came together. This is the work of Bismarck. Did you understand, all of you? Ankita, that's what. This is the work of Bismarck. Russia did not know. See, I come back to the box here. You see this box here? Dreikaiserbund between Austria, Germany, and Russia. And this was, according to Bismarck, directed against France. These countries don't know. The signatories to the Dreikaiserbund don't know against whom it is directed against. According to Bismarck's mind, it is directed against France, Austria, Germany, Russia. Then he formed a dual alliance with Austria, right? And Russia doesn't know this. This was directed against Russia, right? Looking at Russia's reaction after the Berlin Congress, he formed a dual alliance with Austria, right? And then he renewed the Dreikaiserbund. And then he formed the Triple Alliance, right? This is the work of Bismarck. And then he signed the reinsurance treaty with Russia to keep Russia interested. No, I don't understand your question, Ramandeep. Garima, just hold on. You have to understand the Eastern question. You remember, by giving away, he had supported Austria in the Berlin Congress and rebuffed Russia. So that led to friction. Between Germany and Russia. So why will Russia join the Triple Alliance? Did you understand, Garima? Why will Russia join the Triple Alliance? Because in the Berlin Congress, he has supported Austria and rebuffed Russia. So you have friction, estrangement between Russia and Germany already existing. No, it is not confusing. You have to revise. You revise, you'll understand. We'll come back here. Just hold on. Now, this is the Triple Alliance. This is the work of Bismarck. Right. Now, look here. We have a new German emperor who comes to power. His name was Kaiser Wilhelm II on your screen. This is Kaiser Wilhelm II. Now, a young, arrogant, haughty emperor of Germany, new German emperor. No, and he was young, haughty, arrogant, did not understand much about international relations and diplomacy. The first thing this man did is, Kaiser Wilhelm II did is, he dismissed Bismarck. He dismissed Bismarck as chancellor. So in 1890, Bismarck was dismissed. And what the new German emperor did is, Kaiser Wilhelm II, he refused to renew the reinsurance treaty with Russia. You see here, this part, Bismarck had signed the reinsurance treaty with Russia to keep Russia interested. So this was to prevent a Franco-Russian alliance. Now the new German emperor refused to renew the reinsurance treaty with Russia. And he announced an aggressive naval program. I'll come to that in some time. He announced an aggressive naval program for Germany. When the reinsurance treaty with Russia was not renewed by the new German emperor, Russia became insecure. Because I told you, you should have friends in international relations. And Russia felt alone. Bismarck had not allowed Russia to feel alone anytime. He had renewed the Dreikaiserbund. He had signed the reinsurance treaty with Russia. Now, once the reinsurance treaty was not renewed by the new German emperor, Russia began to look for friends. And France was already alone in international relations. Remember, Bismarck had isolated France so that France doesn't have any friends. Now, these two countries came together. Russia and France came together, because they were alone. and that led to a dual alliance between Russia and France. You see, we are going to discuss the coming into existence of the Triple Entente. The Triple Entente. What is Entente? Entente means it's a French word spelled as pronounced as Entente. Entente is friendly understanding amongst countries. Friendly understanding. Friendly understanding amongst nations. That is the meaning of Entente. So Triple Entente. Now let us understand how this came into existence. So we have a dual alliance. The formation of the Triple Entente. First of all, we have the establishment of the dual alliance. On your screen, the dual alliance between France and Russia. On your screen, you see here on your screen. Russia agreed to help France. Russia agreed to help France if France was attacked by Germany or Italy or by both. You see here, Russia agreed to help France. So I put an arrow mark here. Russia agreed to help France if France was attacked by Germany or Italy or by both. Why will France and Germany fight? No, obviously. Remember this Franco-Prussian War. Bismarck had taken away Alsace and Lorraine. France had to pay a penalty of 5 million francs. So already there was animosity between France and Germany. Then why Italy and France will fight? Remember Tunisia. He had given away Tunisia to France. Italy felt very angry. And moreover, Italy had joined the dual alliance between Germany and Austria. Okay, so Russia agreed to help France if France was attacked by Germany or Italy or by both. Similarly, France agreed to help Russia. You see on your screen, France agreed to help Russia if Russia was attacked by Germany or by Austria-Hungary or by both. So France agreed to help Russia if Russia was attacked by Austria-Hungary or Germany or by both. So why will Germany and Russia fight? Berlin Congress, remember, he had supported Austria and rebuffed Russia. And Russia had lost all her gains in the Balkans. So there was anger between Germany and Russia. And why will Russia and Austria-Hungary fight? Because again, he had ignored Russia and befriended Austria. Right? In the Berlin Congress, he had given away Bosnia and Herzegovina to Austria. And he had ignored Russia. And moreover, Germany and Austria and Hungary had come together in a dual alliance. And please understand, once Bismarck was dismissed, the terms of the Triple Alliance, the Dual Alliance, and the Triple Alliance came out into the open. Other countries came to know that Bismarck had formed these alliances targeting them. And out of pure national interest, they began to look for friends with whom they can have an alliance and secure their national interest. Did you understand? Dual alliance. So the refusal of the new German emperor to renew the reinsurance treaty with Russia resulted in a Franco-Russian alliance, which Bismarck had been preventing from the beginning. He was preventing this alliance. He did not want France and Russia to come together. But once he was dismissed, they had come together. Okay. No, he was old. Bismarck already was very old. He was pretty old, and the new German emperor found him unfit. He thought he is not necessary to be in the scene anymore. So he dismissed him. Right. Then we come to the English policy of splendid isolation. See, please understand, when you write an answer, for example, causes for the First World War, you don't need to explain in detail how this alliance system came into existence. Right? I am explaining all these details for you to understand the topic, understand the subject. You just have to mention what you have to mention. I'll tell you later when I come to, because they've asked the question, how Germany was responsible for the 2 world wars. UPSC has asked the question in the mains. Now, once you know the entire story, it becomes very easy to write an answer because you know the background and the details also. But then details, keep it in your mind, but you don't need to write all these details. What was the mind of Bismarck, etc., etc. Right? I'll come to that in some time. Just hold on. So the English policy of splendid isolation. What is this English policy of splendid isolation? Please understand, England, what is the meaning of this? England never used to interfere in Europe unless and until her commercial interests in the East were threatened. And this policy of England is known as policy of splendid isolation. I repeat, England never used to interfere in European affairs unless and until her commercial interests in the East were threatened. And only then she would interfere in European affairs. And that policy of England is known as policy of splendid isolation. Now, what are the reasons for this policy of splendid isolation? What are the reasons? Number one, England felt that it is futile, useless to indulge in European politics. So she felt it is futile to indulge in European politics. Number two, she had lack of interest in trade with Europe. She did not want to trade with Europe. Number three, she did not have any willing ally or friend. No good friend in Europe. There was no statesman in England who could follow an aggressive foreign policy, a vigorous foreign policy. So no statesman in England who can follow an aggressive foreign policy. And moreover, she was very busy in putting down the Irish agitation for home rule. Now, the Irish were fighting for home rule or legislative independence of their country. And she was busy putting down that. So therefore, she never interfered in European politics, right? Unless her commercial interests in the East were threatened. In other words, England did not have any friends. England was alone, okay, focusing on trade. She was only focusing on trade with the East, whatever colony she had in the East and in other parts of the world. She never interfered in European affairs until and unless her commercial interests in the East were threatened. And these are the reasons for that. But two developments happened, please understand, two developments happened which made England rethink her policy of splendid isolation. She felt it is wrong to be alone in international relations. It is necessary to have friends. What are those two developments which resulted in England trying to find friends in Europe? One is the Fashoda crisis, and the other is the Boer Wars. These are the two incidents which resulted in England giving up her policy of splendid isolation, and she began to look for friends. One is the Fashoda crisis. What is this Fashoda crisis? I have given the details here. I have given the details in this particular yellow background. You go through it, but then I'll explain to you in a very simple manner. Understand this. This is enough to remember. You see, Fashoda was the name of a village. It was a village inside Sudan. So this is a village inside Sudan. And Sudan was a protectorate of England. It was under the protection of England, Sudan. Now what happened is, under instructions from the new French foreign minister, so you have a new French foreign minister, he orders one French captain called Marchand. So you can see on your screen, this is Marchand, Captain Marchand. So he orders this Captain Marchand to take the French army into Sudan and claim Sudan for France. So on the instructions of this new French foreign minister, Captain Marchand, a French captain, enters Sudan, goes to the village of Fashoda, and he raises the French flag, claiming Sudan for France. So Captain Marchand enters Sudan, goes to the village of Fashoda, and raises the French flag, claiming Sudan for France. In retaliation, we have the British general called Kitchener. So we have the British general called Kitchener. You can see here, Kitchener. He marches into Sudan with his British army and asked Marchand to get out. So Kitchener said, Sudan belongs to England. You have no business to claim Sudan, and therefore you get. So these two countries, England and France, were on the verge of a war over Sudan, right? Now, better sense prevailed on the part of the French. You have the new French foreign minister, Théophile Delcasse. So his name was Delcasse. You don't need to remember all these things, just understand this. We have a new French foreign minister called Delcasse. This Delcasse was a friend of England. He wanted to get the support of England against Germany. So Delcasse asked Marchand to get out of Sudan, to withdraw from Sudan. So on the instructions of Delcasse, Captain Marchand withdrew from Sudan. Now, England realized that if there was a war with France, she would have to fight France alone, because France had an alliance with all of you. What is the Russia? Very good, Satyapal. France had an alliance with Russia. So France would get the support of Russia. Thanks. Thank you. I'm so happy. All of you have understood. So many answers. Very good. I really appreciate that. So France had an alliance with Russia, and England would have to fight both France and Russia alone. Okay. So England began to think seriously. My God, Bapre Bap, we have to find friends. So this is one incident. Second incident is the Boer Wars. You see on your screen, 1899 to 1902. So you have the Boers. Who are Boers? Boers were Dutch farmers. Boers, they are Dutch farmers in South Africa. They were Dutch farmers in South Africa fighting for their independence from England. So when the Boer Wars broke out, where the Boers are fighting against England in South Africa, all the European countries were supporting the Boers against England. And England, though suffered some reverses in the Boer Wars, was able to prevail over the Boers. She was able to win the Boer Wars, and all the European countries were supporting the Boers. So from these two incidents, England realized that it is necessary to find friends, and this policy of splendid isolation should be given up. And England began to look for friends with whom she can have a treaty or a friendship. On your screen, you see this? England first thought about France. England first thought about France. Can England and France be friends? No. Why? Because they are colonial rivals. Throughout history, they have been fighting. In America, they fought. In India, they fought, the two companies. So throughout history, they have been trade rivals as well as political rivals. So England initially thought about France. Then she gave up the idea of befriending France. Then she thought about Russia. Can England and Russia be friends? Again, the answer is no, because they had conflicting interests in various parts of the world, including the Balkans. So they were rivals in the Balkans and Afghanistan. We have seen this just now. Eastern question. Okay. So they were rivals in Balkans as well as in Afghanistan. Then England decided to befriend Germany. She tried to move forward to befriend Germany. And you have exchange of embassies, exchange of officials. And this was interpreted when England offered her hands of friendship to Germany. The new German emperor, Kaiser Wilhelm II, interpreted this as a sign of English weakness. Look at this fellow, the new German emperor. I'll show you his face. Kaiser Wilhelm II, young, arrogant, haughty emperor. Now, when England offered her hands of friendship to Germany, this new German emperor interpreted this as a sign of English weakness. He thought England wants to befriend Germany because England is feeling weak. This was his interpretation, right? And then you have this new German emperor, Wilhelm II, giving careless speeches. He used to make careless speeches, right? And also press statements. Now, what type of careless statements he used to make? Now, he wanted Germany to be a world power, what he called as Weltpolitik, world policy. He wanted Germany to be a world power or Weltpolitik. He wanted Germany to have colonies all over the world. Look at this. If Germany wanted to do that, she could have done that silently without revealing her mind. But here, the German emperor has, he's tom-tomming his plans, what he wants to do. That is world domination of Germany, where she'll become a world power. She'll have colonies all over the world. And he announced that Germany is embarking upon a vigorous or an aggressive naval program by which she plans to overtake England's naval strength in 20 years. Look at this. In 20 years, Germany wants to overtake England's naval strength. England, I told you, in some context, I've told you, England was the mistress of the oceans. She ruled the oceans. And she had 60% of the world's warships with her during those days. And here, Germany is planning a naval policy wherein she will overtake England. She planned to overtake England naval strength within 20 years. Now, when England heard all these, comments and speeches given by the German emperor, England thought that a known devil is better than an unknown angel. You see, France is a known devil, right? And France is a lesser threat than Germany. Germany seems to be a bigger threat than France. Okay, that's why I said a known devil is better than an unknown angel. Germany is an unknown angel, and a known devil is France. So you have England deciding to have friendship with France. They were colonial rivals, true, but England decided, let us have friendship with France because it is safer and we know about France. We know everything about France, and therefore let us befriend France, then Germany. And moreover, please understand, so this was a naval program launched by Germany in 1900, and by 1920, she planned to overtake England's naval strength. At the same time, please understand, by 1900, Germany had overtaken England in the race for industrialization. In fact, by 1850 itself, Germany had overtaken England in the race for industrialization, England, including America. So Germany and America were ahead of England in the race for industrialization, isn't it? So England felt that Germany was a bigger threat. Now England moved closer to France. Now, before this, we have an alliance which England had with Japan. This is the Anglo-Japanese Alliance, 1902, Anglo-Japanese Alliance. Japan had become a power in the Far East, and England had an alliance with Japan. But then she was not very happy with this alliance with Japan because Japan is not a European country. She wanted a friend in Europe. And after her friendship was rebuffed by Germany, England moved closer to France. And France also wanted to improve her relations with England. And these two traditional colonial rivals at last came together in what is known as the Entente Cordiale. This is known as the Entente Cordiale or Anglo-French Entente, friendly understanding between England and France, or Entente Cordiale. Okay, so this was not a military alliance. So this happened in 1904. England and France came together. This was not a military alliance. It signified cordial relations between the two. And wherever they had differences, England and France, they solved it amongst themselves. You see, England was given a free hand in Egypt. France told England, we will not interfere in Egypt. You can do whatever you want in Egypt. And similarly, England told France, we will not interfere in Morocco. Morocco is yours. So France was given a license to do whatever in Morocco. And they had differences in West Africa. Siam means Thailand. So they had differences in Thailand. There are different differences in Newfoundland, Canada. So wherever they had differences, they solved it amongst themselves. And these two colonial rivals came together. Did you understand? You see on your screen, I am building up the story. Formation of Triple Entente. Initially, it was dual alliance between France and Russia. Then the Anglo-Japanese alliance and the Anglo-French Entente. England and France had come together. Now, let us come to Anglo-Russian Entente. Anglo-Russian Entente. Good relations between England and Russia. And they were rivals in various parts of the world. In the Balkans, they were rivals. In Tibet, in Afghanistan, England and Russia were rivals. But then France wanted Russia to improve her relations with England. France, Russia's dual alliance partner, wanted Russia to improve her relations with England. And France suggested to Russia, why don't you improve your relations with England? And England also wanted to improve her relations with Russia. Now, in 1904, 1905, a tiny country called Japan defeated Russia. No, the biggest country was defeated by a small country like Japan. And once Japan defeated Russia, England felt, when tiny Japan can defeat Russia, why should we be afraid of Russia? Right? So you have the Anglo-Russian alliance, which came into existence. Wherever they had differences, they solved it amongst themselves. Russia wanted to improve her relations with England. England also was equally interested. And wherever they had differences, they had solved it amongst themselves. So they had differences in Persia, that is Iran. They solved it amongst themselves. England was considered superior in Afghanistan. So Russia refused to interfere in Afghanistan, and both agreed not to interfere in Tibet. So wherever they had differences, they solved it amongst themselves. So this Anglo-Russian Entente gave birth to the Triple Entente. Initially, you have Russia. You see, initially Russia and France had come together. Once the new German emperor refused to renew the reinsurance treaty with Russia, Russia and France came together. Then we have England and France coming together, Anglo-French Entente. Then Anglo-Russian Entente, giving rise to the Triple Entente. Did you understand? So these three agreed to consult one another in international affairs, and you have great understanding and solidarity amongst them. So Triple Alliance was the work of Bismarck, Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy. And in response to that, we have another alliance which had come into existence: France, Russia, and England. Did you understand, all of you? Clear? Hello. Did you understand how these two alliances came into existence? Now you have unhealthy competition for armaments. They were fighting for each other. Rather, you have each of these groups amassing weapons, armaments. You have suspicion, distrust, and hate. There was no international body like the League of Nations or the United Nations organization to solve problems amongst countries. So you have suspicion, hatred, jealousy amongst each of these blocks. They continue to industrialize, continue to militarize. All these countries, in these blocks wanted colonies, protectorates, spheres of influence. You have two Hague conferences took place. So this was to limit armaments, the buildup of armaments. Two Hague conferences, one in 1899 and the other in 1907, but they were failures. What is the immediate reason for the outbreak of World War I? The assassination of Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. I told you, you see on your screen, this is the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So, again, I go back to the Eastern question topic. In the Berlin Congress, Austria was given away Bosnia and Herzegovina for administering. But in the year 1908, she annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina. She annexed it. And Serbia was already angry with Austria because Bosnia and Herzegovina were administered by her. And a number of secret societies had been established in Serbia. One such secret society was the Society of the Union of Death, or Black Hand Society. The aim of Serbia was to create a greater Serbia, where all the Slavs come together under one umbrella, under Serbia, right? And they wanted to separate Bosnia and Herzegovina from Austria. So here we have at Sarajevo. Sarajevo is the capital of Bosnia. And the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Franz Ferdinand, came to take charge as the governor of Bosnia. At point blank range, one of the Serbian nationals, his name was Gavrilo Princip, he shot dead Franz Ferdinand along with his queen. And weapons had been supplied by Serbia. This happened on June the 28th, 1914. Right? It happened exactly on June the 18th. So Serbia was the one which provided weapons to this Gavrilo Princip. Okay, and Gavrilo Princip killed Franz Ferdinand. Now, Austria came to know the involvement of Serbia in this assassination. And therefore, Austria gave 1 month time to Serbia. We will give you 1 month time. Whoever are behind the assassination of our prince, you hand them over, you arrest them and you hand them over to us. Serbia refused to take responsibility for this assassination. Serbia said, we are not involved. We don't know anything about this matter. And she washed her hands off. That's what she thought. Exactly 1 month later, she had given a 1 month ultimatum, Austria. Exactly 1 month later, that is on July the 20th. You see here, assassination happened on June the 20th. July the 20th, exactly 1 month later, Austria, all of you please understand this. Austria declared war on Serbia. Once Austria declared war on Serbia, the alliance system of Bismarck suddenly became alive. You see, who was acting as the big brother to all the Slavs? Who was acting as the big brother? It was Russia. So Russia jumped to the side of Serbia. When Russia jumped to the side of Serbia, you have Germany coming to the side of Austria. You have the dual alliance of Bismarck, isn't it? Germany and Austria had formed a dual alliance. So when Germany came to the assistance of Austria, France jumped to the side of Russia. Dual alliance between France and Russia. Did you understand? Now, you see, Germany attacked France via Belgium. I'll come to that. That's called the Schifflen Plan. Germany attacked France via Belgium. It was a shortcut. I'll come to that. So when Germany conquered Belgium, you see, I'll show you the map. Where's the map here? You see, this is Belgium. See, you on your screen. See, Germany attacked Belgium, and via Belgium, she wanted to attack France to prevent or to safeguard from French defenses. France will have troops on the German border, on the Franco-German border. So if Germany directly attacks France, then many of the German soldiers will get killed because France will also have her defenses ready. So the plan was to attack France via Belgium. So Germany conquered Belgium with the intention of attacking France via Belgium. When Germany conquered Belgium, England declared war on Germany because the British coast, the English coast is not far from Belgium. And this had never been anticipated by Germany. So you see here, when Germany attacked France via Belgium, England joined the side of France. And a war, which could have been a regional war between Austria and Serbia, became a global war where all the whole of Europe got involved and major parts of the earth were also involved. This is the First World War. So you see here, the formation of Triple Alliance was the work of Bismarck, Dreieckeiserbund, Dual Alliance, Dreieckeiserbund renewed, Triple Alliance, and the reinsurance treaty with Russia. And once the new German emperor refused to renew the reinsurance treaty, we have the Dual Alliance between Russia and France. Then you have an alliance between England and France, England and Russia, giving rise to the Triple Entente. This is the alliance system of Bismarck. Are you there with me? I'm coming to that. Nikhil, just hold on. When I come to World War I, I'll explain the plan, what is called Schiffland plan. I'll come to that. Nikhil, just hold on. Okay. So this is the build up to the First World War topic. So it is 7:05 now on my watch. We'll meet at 7:20. We'll meet at 7:20 and come back for First World War. Yeah, 7:20. Come back at 7:20 p.m. We'll start with World War I. Carry on. Vaibhav, Axis powers is in World War II. Okay, Axis and allies. This is Triple Alliance and Triple Entente. Central powers versus allies. I'll come to that. Just hold on. You come back in the break, we will talk about it. Good evening once again. Good evening, all of you. Can we start this topic, World War One? Okay. So the First World War, 1914 to 1918. So let us discuss this topic, very interesting topic. Europe on the eve of the First World War. This is the map of Europe on the eve of the First World War. Now, how do I introduce you this topic? You see, the First World War, World War One, World War One, happened between 1914 and 18. Now, in the First World War, more than 40 million people were killed. More than 40 million people were killed. This included both civilian and military casualties. Civilian and military casualties. More than 40 million people died. Um, you have a number of empires which collapsed. A number of empires collapsed um, after the First World War or during the course of the First World War. We have the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsing, German Empire collapsed, the Turkish Empire collapsed, and of course the Russian Empire collapsed. So all these empires collapsed. And from these countries, from these empires, a number of countries were born. For example, from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, 4 countries were born: Austria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, and Czechoslovakia. So 4 countries were born from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Germany became a republic. So the German Empire also collapsed. The monarchy ended in Germany, and Germany became a republic, what is called the Weimar Republic. What was called the Weimar Republic. Turkish Empire also collapsed. The Ottoman Turkish Empire collapsed. The core, that is the nucleus of the Ottoman Turkish Empire, became the Republic of Turkey. And the peripheral areas, the peripheral areas of the Ottoman Turkish Empire were kept under various European countries under the so-called mandate system. I'll come to that later. Don't worry about it. So we have the establishment of the Republic of Turkey in 1924 under Mustafa Kemal Pasha. And that was the core of the Ottoman Turkish Empire. And the peripheral areas were kept under various European countries under the so-called mandate system. I'll explain this later. The Russian Empire also collapsed. You see, a number of countries were born: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and Finland. These are the new countries born from the Russian Empire. After the First World War, we have a new international body called the League of Nations. So the League of Nations was established to maintain international peace and order, League of Nations. And the germs of the Second World War are contained in the First World War. That is, the causes of the Second World War are contained in the First World War. You have in the First World War we have 2 groups fighting, isn't it? Triple Alliance versus the Triple Entente. Triple Alliance versus Triple Entente countries. Triple Alliance countries were also called Central Powers. Why they were called Central Powers? Because they occupied the central portion of Europe. So who are the Central Powers or Triple Alliance countries? You all know that: Germany, Austria-Hungary, Italy, Bulgaria, and Turkey. These are the Triple Alliance countries. But please understand, in the midst of the war, just 1 year after the war, Italy switched loyalties. Italy joined the side of the Triple Entente countries. So Italy was no more part of the Triple Alliance. Triple Entente countries, of course, England, France, Russia, Italy, of course, America. America joined towards the end of the First World War. What are the reasons why America joined? We will come to that later. Now, what was the role of India in the First World War? You see, India was a British colony. She was under the British rule, and we had no choice but to fight along with the British. In fact, the British dragged India into the First World War, and we lost about 70,000 Indian soldiers. 70,000 Indian soldiers died on the war front, and an equal number of them, about 75,000, were wounded or missing. They were found wounded or missing. Until recently, the only memorial, the only monument which commemorates our brave hearts, the Indian soldiers who died fighting the First World War, was the India War Memorial, that is the India Gate in Delhi. And so on the India Gate in Delhi, or the India War Memorial, on the scrolls are mentioned 82,000 names. There are 82,000 names of Indian soldiers mentioned, and of course, many British soldiers' names are also there. So this was the only war memorial which commemorates the sacrifices made by the Indian soldiers in the First World War. Till recently, that was the case. But a few years back, in 2018, you see, the First World War came to an end on November the 18th, 1918, or I think it's November 11th. That is called the Day of Armistice. The Day of Armistice. The Armistice Day. Let me get the date right. So exact date when it ended. I think it is 11th of November, 1918. That is called the Armistice Day. And in 2018, the world celebrated 100 years, or rather remembered 100 years of the First World War, end of the First World War. On November 11, 2018, 100 years were over since the World War had taken place, or ended rather. Now, a few years back, around 2018, we have an NGO, non-governmental organization called Shahidi Memorial Foundation or so. So that took the responsibility of commemorating our brave hearts. So in various parts of Europe, including in France, you have graveyards, of Indian soldiers. So a plaque was installed along with a pillar and the Ashoka Chakra, etc. They were all installed there in France and other parts of Europe. So that this was to commemorate our brave hearts, right? And in the First World War, many of the Indian soldiers were given Victoria Cross, that is the bravery medals. Before the First World War, they were not given. They were only given Indian Order of Merit medals. But then our soldiers shed their blood like water. And I'll just share this information with you. So in the First World War, Indian Order of Merit. There were 11 Victoria Crosses in the First World War. This is Victoria Cross for bravery, for gallantry during the First World War. The first Victoria Cross in the British Indian Army went to Sepoy Khudadat Khan. So his name was Sepoy Khudadat Khan of the Baluch Regiment. So he fought at a place called Hollebeek in Belgium. So he was the first person to be given the Victoria Cross. Totally 11 Indian soldiers got it. And among them, you have Mir Dast, belonging to the 55th Cox Rifles, Lala, belonging to the 41st Dogras, Shahmat Khan of the 89th Punjabis, Gobind Singh of 28th Light Cavalry, etc. So Naik Darwan Singh of the Royal Garhwal Rifles, he was a second Victoria Cross recipient. He got it on the battlefield itself by the King of England. So the King of England gave him Victoria Cross on the battlefield for his bravery, Naik Darwan Singh. So these are this is some of the information I have collected. And of course, you see, during the First World War, we have the use of chemical weapons, phosgene, mustard gas. They were all used for the first time in the battlefield. And we have the United Nations Convention of 1925, which bans the use of chemical and biological weapons. Even now, it stays. So 1925, you have the United Nations passing a rule that these weapons, chemical and biological weapons, should not be used in war. And even now that particular rule applies. So this is the introduction to this topic, the First World War, right? So there was a question asked by the UPSC. You see here on your screen, to what extent can Germany be held responsible for causing the two world wars? Discuss critically. So, to what extent can Germany be held responsible for causing the two world wars? We'll come back here. Causes for the First World War. We'll discuss all the causes, Bismarck and secret diplomatic military alliances. Right? We just now discussed the secret military alliances of Bismarck, economic imperialism, militarism, etc. And of course, immediate cause. And then after the First World War, we have a number of peace treaties which were imposed on the defeated countries. So Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, Turkey, these are the defeated countries. So separate treaties were imposed upon them. And of course, a very humiliating treaty called the Treaty of Versailles was imposed upon Germany. And the clauses of the Versailles Treaty, which was imposed upon Germany, was very, very humiliating for Germany. And the German Second World War are contained in the Treaty of Versailles. So we'll be analyzing critically the Versailles Treaty. And if you understand the Versailles Treaty, you have almost understood major reasons for the outbreak of the Second World War. We will discuss that. Then, of course, we have defect in the execution of the disarmament policy, principle of national self-determination, etc. I'll explain that. What is this principle of national self-determination? Now, this First World War is called by different names. It is called the Great War, the War to End All Wars, and Total War. So let me discuss. I'll give you a handout on Total War, but let me just discuss about Total War in a moment's time. You see, what is this concept of Total War? Now, the concept of Total War, this was basically, I believe, devised by a Prussian military strategist. His name was Karl von Clausewitz. His name was Karl von Clausewitz. So I'll give you a small note. I'll type it and mail it to you. Have you received some extra information today in your mailbox? I had asked for my team, one of my team members to share it with you. Yeah, why not, Priyanshu? You can, you should. Okay, you have received it. Okay. So what is this Total War? What is this Total War? I will explain to you. Just hold on. So here, this was a concept introduced by a Prussian military strategist called Karl von Clausewitz. Now, in 1935, we have another German military general. His name was General Ludendorff, Erich Ludendorff. He writes a book called Total War. In the year 1935, this book was written. And in that particular book called The Total War, Erich Ludendorff, a military general, expanded this concept of total war. During the nuclear age, during the nuclear age, this was further extended or expanded by an American Air Force general called Curtis LeMay. This was in the year 1949. So what is this total war? Total war is so there are many aspects to this total war. Number one is you have the entire population of a country getting involved in the total war. Entire population of a country is involved. Not only just the military or the armed forces, even the civilian establishment are involved in a total war. Doctors, engineers, common people like you and me are also involved in the total war. Secondly, in a total war, it is fought across exceptional geography or vast areas. For example, during the world wars were fought in Europe as well as Asia and Africa. So you have colonies of many European countries in Asia and Africa. So even in those theaters of Asia and Africa, world wars were fought, not just in Europe. That's why it was fought over exceptional geography. It is fought over exceptional geography. Third is it uses the latest technology. For example, you have radio communication, submarines, tanks, aircraft, machine guns. So these are all used in the world wars. Radars, for example, during the First World War, radars were during the Second World War, for example, radars were developed by the British and perfected by them. So these are all new weapons which were used as part of the total war. Then you also have use of weapons of mass destruction. For example, in the First World War, we have the use of chemical weapons, phosgene, mustard gas. They were all used. Whereas in the Second World War, they used atomic weapons. Like, America dropped atomic bombs on Japan. So you have weapons of mass destruction which are used as part of total war. Further, we have development of new military infrastructure. Like, for example, you have a unified headquarters. That is, you have the Army, Navy, Air Force. They have one headquarters, unified command and control systems. All those things are part of total war. Then, a total war does not differentiate between combatants and non-combatants, combatants and non-combatants. For example, during so purposely countries target civilian targets. No, they bomb civilian targets or target the civilians to reduce the confidence as well as the fighting capacity of the governments, to put pressure on the governments. For example, during the Second World War, we have atomic bombs dropped on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and lakhs of people were killed. So they were innocent Japanese civilians like you and me, but then purposely it was targeted by America to reduce the resolve of Japan to continue fighting the Second World War, and Japan surrendered after Nagasaki was bombed. So here there's no differentiation. There's no differentiation made between combatants and non-combatants in a total war. Further, it is a long drawn out conflict. It is a long drawn out conflict. For example, we have the First World War, which was fought for 4 years, 1914 to 1918. Similarly, the Second World War lasted for 6 years, 1939 to 45. So it's a long drawn out war. Then it is decisive in nature. That is, there is no there has to be a winner. You cannot have a draw. The war cannot end in a draw. There has to be a winner, right? So it is decisive in nature. It cannot end in a draw. Further, nations are involved directly and indirectly. That is, for example, in the world wars, Europe got involved directly, and their colonies in Asia, Africa got involved indirectly. So you have wars fought both directly and indirectly. And lastly, it has a total impact. That is, it affects all aspects of a country's life: polity, society, economy, religion, everything. All aspects of life are involved in as part of total war. So the First World War, the Second World War, the Vietnam War, the Iran-Iraq War, they're all slaughtered under the category of total war. Did you understand total war here? So this is total war. I'll give you a small write-up on this about total war. Okay, I'll share it with you in due course. So here you see this war dragged almost the whole of Europe, and also you have parts of Africa, North Africa, West Asia involved in this war. And the war was fought on many fronts: Western Front, Eastern Front, Middle Eastern Front, Italian Front, like that. It lasted for 4 years. I have told you already, 40 million casualties, more than 40 million people died. So 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. 1 million is 10 lakhs. So you can imagine 40 million people died, both civilian and military casualties. And you have large scale redrawing of the map of Europe. So from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a number of countries were born, like Austria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia were born from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed. Russian Empire also collapsed, and Russia became a communist country. You please understand, during the course of the First World War, there was a revolution in Russia. Next topic is that Russian Revolution. I'll talk about it tomorrow. So once I finish World War I, we'll start with Russian Revolution. So here, Vladimir Lenin withdrew Russia from the First World War, and Russia signed a very humiliating treaty known as the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, and she lost a huge amount of territory. So this was the work of Lenin. So Russia voluntarily withdrew from the First World War. So Russian Empire also collapsed. You have a number of countries born out of Russian Empire, like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. These are the Baltic countries. And of course, Finland and Poland were born. Then the Ottoman Empire also collapsed. You have the non-Anatolian territories. That is, the peripheral areas were put under various European countries under the so-called mandate system. So they functioned as protectorates. And then you have the core of the Ottoman Turkish Empire, which became the Republic of Turkey. Then the German Empire also collapsed. As I told you, you have Germany becoming a republic, or rather made a republic by the victorious countries, what is called the Weimar Republic. So Germany became a republic soon after the end of the First World War. You have a new international body called League of Nations, and the germs of the Second World War are contained in the First World War. The causes of the Second World War are contained in the First World War. And as regards India's contribution, about 70,000 Indian soldiers died fighting for the British. Right. So you can see on your screen Europe after the First World War. This is the map of Europe after the First World War. Before the First World War, it looked like this. You see, this is Europe on the eve of the First World War, just before the First World War broke out. And then the same Europe looks like this with new countries. So whatever outline you see here, these are in red color. These are the red color outline of new countries born: Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Hungary, separate countries. Okay, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, right? Syria, Lebanon, etc. We'll talk about it. Interesting. So the First World War was fought between two groups, Triple Alliance, that is the Central Powers. They're called Central Powers. Why? Because they are located in the central portion of Europe: Germany, Austria-Hungary, then Turkey and Bulgaria. And I have put an asterisk mark. You see, there's an asterisk mark next to Italy because Italy switched loyalties. You see here, Italy joined the Allies, the Triple Entente countries. They're called the Allies. She joined the side of the Allies in April 1915. You remember the Irredentista movement, the Irredentista. The Irredentists felt that Italy had not expanded to its natural frontiers. They wanted some more territories to be part of Italy, and they kept on putting pressure on the Italian government to withdraw from the side of the Central Powers. Austria was also ruling many parts of Italy. So the Irredentists were very angry that Italy is fighting on the same side as the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and they put pressure, and therefore Italy switched loyalties, and she joined the Allies. America joined late in April 1917. So what are the circumstances for America to have joined the First World War? We'll talk about it. She was minding her business. America was minding her business in the First World War as well as in the Second World War. But then some developments happened which made America join the First World War. Second World War, Japan went and bombed Pearl Harbor. And that is the reason why America joined the Second World War. So what are the events which led to America joining the First World War? We will discuss that in some time. And of course, you have other countries: Japan, China, Portugal, etc. And at the end of the war, these are the countries which were neutral: Holland, that is Netherlands, Spain, Switzerland, and the Scandinavian nations. The Scandinavian countries were Norway, Denmark, Sweden. These are Scandinavian countries. They were neutral. Okay, so let us talk about causes for the First World War. First of all, Bismarck and secret diplomatic military alliances. So this is the first reason for the outbreak of the First World War. And as we have seen, we have two groups which had come into existence: Triple Alliance and Triple Entente. And the alliance system was inaugurated by Bismarck in the 1870s. He was a person responsible for establishment of the Triple Alliance. Now, how it came into existence, Triple Alliance and Triple Entente. But then what was the advantage and disadvantage for countries who are members of such groupings? So you have military alliances or groupings which had come into existence, like the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente. So countries who are members of such an alliance felt secure that in case of an attack by an enemy, either they'll get help from their own members or they will remain neutral. This was the security they had. You are a member of an alliance. You are sure that if you're attacked by an enemy country, your friends will come to your assistance or they will remain neutral. But then, and definitely they'll not fight against you. They will remain neutral or they'll fight with you against your enemy. But what was the disadvantage? The disadvantage is it might encourage a country to take unnecessary risk with other countries. Just because they're part of a group, they might take unnecessary risk with other countries. Then the countries who are part of a grouping might go to war against other countries. Just because they're part of a group, they might take advantage of that and may go to war against other countries. And because they're part of a group, the war might not get confined to only two parties. More than two parties can get involved. So these are the disadvantages of being part, advantage and disadvantage of being part of a grouping. Right now, by the first decade of the 20th century, we have seen these two groups had come into existence, two alliance systems, two agreements, war camps had come into existence: Triple Alliance and Triple Entente. Triple Alliance, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy, and Triple Entente, England, France, and Russia. Now we have seen this. UK and France, England and France were wary of the growing military strength of Germany, the naval strength of Germany. I told you, under Kaiser Wilhelm II, he embarked upon a vigorous naval program, aiming to overtake England's naval strength in 20 years. So England and France were wary of the growing naval power of Germany. Then France was very irritated, angry that she had been denied of Alsace and Lorraine. Germany had snatched away Alsace and Lorraine from France. Right? So France was upset with Germany for that reason. And both these groupings had conflicting interests in Africa. We'll come to that in some time. Both these groups had conflicting interests in Africa. They wanted colonies for themselves within Africa, and they kept on fighting against each other, or they came very close to fighting against each other. These two groupings, right? And later, Turkey joined the Triple Alliance. Why? Because her possessions, her territories were coveted by topic. Turkey's territories were desired by England, France, and Russia. So Turkey joined the side of the Triple Alliance. And of course, you have constant friction and hostilities between these two camps, which slowly brought Europe to the verge of break point, where they ultimately you have World War One breaking out. This is number one, right? Triple Alliance, Triple Entente, and of course, friction among England, France, Germany, etc. This is first reason. Second is economic imperialism. Are you there with me, all of you? Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Scandinavian countries. Okay, now economic imperialism. What is this economic imperialism? Very easy. When I did Industrial Revolution, I have spoken about it. Some of the early countries who industrialized were England, France, Netherlands, that is Holland, etc. So these were some of the countries who industrialized initially. They industrialized, and they also had colonies with them. So from these colonies of theirs, they used to get raw materials, and those colonies used to act as ready markets. Now, once Germany and Italy became unified, in 1871, they became unified. They were born. They also, Germany and Italy also desired colonies, protectorates, spheres of influence. Because colonies can serve various purposes: investment destinations, you have extra investment opportunities in the colonies, raw materials, markets, etc. So you have competition between the newly established countries like Germany and Italy with the erstwhile industrial powers. Competition for colonies, protectorates, spheres of influence. And that led to bitterness, rivalries, and bad blood among them. For example, when Germany tried to enter into the markets of England, England became very wary of Germany. For example, let us take the example of India. England was ruling this country, right? England was ruling India. England only dumped her goods here. Factory-made goods of England were dumped here. And you have without any custom duties being charged, easily one-way free trade happened. All the English goods were sold in here in India at a very cheap rate. England will not allow any other country, maybe Germany or Italy or America, to sell her goods here at such a cheap rate. She will impose heavy taxes. So here, please understand, Germany, when she tried to enter into the markets of England, England felt wary. At the same time, tariff wars broke out. So all these industrialized countries were only interested in selling their goods, not buying from any other country. So tariff wars broke out. They imposed heavy taxes on each other's goods. Did you understand? This is called economic imperialism, another reason for the outbreak of World War I. Clear, all of you? Hello? Clear? Can I move on? Economic imperialism? Okay. Right. Then we come to militarism. What is this militarism? Tariff war, motum, what I said is, tariff wars is, for example, I gave the example of India. England was ruling India, right? And England will easily allow her goods, whatever goods manufactured in England, to come into the Indian market because they were ruling this country. But then she will not allow or encourage other countries like Germany, Italy, or Switzerland to sell her goods or their goods here in this country. They'll impose heavy custom duties upon those goods, right? So that nobody buys it in India, or they'll find it very, very costly to buy a German car or a German a watch or something like that. Similarly, the same thing was done by those countries. They will not allow English goods to come into their territories or in their colonies. Only Germany will sell her goods only within Germany or in her colonies. She will not allow English goods to come. So tariff wars broke out because they were imposing heavy taxes on each other's goods. Why diplomatic alliance is cause for war? Yeah, obviously, I told you, they were part of two separate groupings. They had conflicting interests in various parts of the world. They had conflicting interests, and that led to, and also they were wanting colonies, protectorates, spheres of influence. They kept on militarizing. They kept on building weapons, right? And they looked at each other with mutual suspicion, and that was one of the reasons for the outbreak of World War One. Then we come to militarism. What is the meaning of militarism in the context of First World War? It means two things. Understand this, very simple. The military generals, that is the military general staff. Military general staff means the senior officials of the armed forces, Air Force, Army, Navy. These higher officials, the military general staff, were beyond the control of the civilian political establishment. They were the ones who dictated foreign policy, particularly in countries like Turkey and Russia. That was the state of affairs. So all the power is in the hands of the military generals. For example, Pakistan. Pakistan is a failed democracy. You all know that, isn't it? So if the army wants it, they can take over the country whenever they want. So it's something like that. They can dictate foreign policy. The army general of Pakistan, he can do whatever he wants. And we have seen so many examples down the time from the time when Pakistan has become independent. So like that, in Turkey and Russia, you have this military general staff, the armed forces heads. They dictated foreign policy, and if they wanted their country to go to war, they could do that. The civilian political establishment had no control over them. This is number one. That is called militarism. And secondly, you have frenetic buildup of weapons. That is aggressive building up of weapons. Weapons of war, aircraft, submarines, planes, tanks, okay, field guns, machine guns, etc. This is called militarism. This is another reason for the outbreak of World War One. Then number four is lack of machinery to control international relations. Lack of machinery to control international relations. Now, please understand, we did not have a body like the League of Nations. Before League of Nations was established soon after the end of the First World War. So there was no international body like the League of Nations to maintain international peace and order. There was a code of international law and morality. There was an unwritten code of international law and morality, but then people did not follow that. The countries did not follow that. So here you see there was confusion and anarchy in international relations. Countries would get into treaties or have agreements with other countries, and these agreements were kept a secret by the leaders from their own people or from their legislatures. For example, Germany, secret military diplomatic alliances of Bismarck. So these are secret, nobody knows about it, and that led to a lot of confusion, hysteria, okay, anarchy within the country and outside also. At the same time, you have theft, lying, bribery in every foreign office and chancellery of Europe. And as I told you, there was a code of international law and morality, but nobody followed it. For example, Italy was a member of the Triple Alliance. But then she had alliances, though she was a part of the Triple Alliance, consisting of Germany, Austria, Hungary, Italy, Turkey, and Bulgaria. Italy did not mind having an alliance with France and Russia. So in France, she had an alliance in 1902 and Russia in 1909. So this is lack of machinery to control international relations. So we did not have something like the League of Nations or the United Nations organization to maintain peace and order throughout the country, throughout the world. This is another reason. Clear? Hello, all of you? Clear with the fourth point? Very simple. Right, okay. Then we come to excessive or narrow nationalism. What is this excessive or narrow nationalism? Right. Now, what is excessive or narrow nationalism? Now, excessive nationalism or what is called aggressive nationalism is seen in some countries. Like, for example, it is seen in Italy, Germany, and also in the Balkans. That is extreme love towards one's country. Aggressive or excessive nationalism is aggressive nationalism, extreme love towards one's country to that country's political and economic goals. Okay, so this can have some problems. For example, nations may have conflicting goals. Nation might have conflicting goals, and number two, even small issues can blow up into major conflicts, even small issues. So this excessive or narrow nationalism, that is love towards extreme love towards one's country, led to a love-hate relationship. Love-hate relationship. For example, if you love Germany, you had to hate France. Okay, so you remember, according to Bismarck, it lay in the logic of history to fight against France because throughout history, France used to interfere in German affairs. So it lay in the logic of history on the part of Germany to fight against France. Similarly, once Alsace and Lorraine were lost by France and she had to pay a penalty to Germany, there was a hatred on the part of the French to take revenge against Germany. So you have love-hate relationship. Similarly, Serbians wanted to establish a greater Serbia, bringing all the Slavs together under their umbrella. But then in the Berlin Congress, Bismarck gave away Austria, Bosnia and Herzegovina to Austria for administering it. Right. So that led to an anger on the part of Serbia. And when to make Serbia more angry, Austria annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1908. So that made the Serbians more angry. Right. So this is love-hate relationship, extreme nationalism or narrow nationalism, and this is the reason which led to the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. So this intense nationalism led to the murder or assassination of Franz Ferdinand, a Serbian national, shot him dead. This is another reason for the outbreak of World War I. Why France angry on Germany? Puja, you know this. Once Bismarck defeated France, France was made to pay a penalty, 5 million francs to Germany. Alsace and Lorraine from France was snatched away by Germany. And the Prussian king was crowned Emperor of Unified Germany on the soil of France in the Palace of Versailles. Isn't it? Because of all those things, it was a national humiliation for the French. Sakshi, what are you trying to convey here, please? Can you understand? Did you understand, Sakshi? Okay. Then we have Alsace-Lorraine question. Alsace and Lorraine question. What is this Alsace-Lorraine question? I know just now you asked this, Pooja. You see, this is Alsace and Lorraine, this orange color. So once Germany defeated France in the Franco-Prussian War of 1871, right, 1870-71, Alsace and Lorraine, rich in iron ore, was snatched away by Germany, and France had to pay a penalty of 5 million francs. She had to pay 5 million francs to Germany. Right, and you have the Third Republic of France. You have France becoming a republic for the third time. She wanted revenge against Germany, France. She wanted to get back Alsace and Lorraine, at the same time take revenge against Germany. So you have also the French, Germany after her unification began to rapidly industrialize and militarize. And French felt that Germany was able to progress so fast, industrialize so fast, and also militarize because Alsace and Lorraine is part of Germany, which she has snatched away from France. So there was a personal reason, a grudge on the part of the French to take revenge against Germany. Okay, so that is another reason for the outbreak of the First World War, the Alsace and Lorraine question. Further, I think I have run out of time. Can I continue from tomorrow? Ready? We'll finish this topic and do Russian Revolution. I have run out of time. Can I just finish this competitive colonialism and capitalism among European powers? One last point, competitive colonialism and capitalism among European countries, European powers. Do you have a webinar today? Okay, thank you. Just give me 5 minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes. I'll finish this point. Now, what is competitive colonialism and capitalism among European powers? See, we have something called the Scramble for Africa. What is Scramble for Africa? So you have European countries from 1880 onwards, 1880s onwards, wanting to partition Africa amongst themselves, because Africa was a very rich continent with lot of mineral and natural resources. So here, 1880s onwards, we will discuss about it. When we talk about colonization and decolonization of Africa, we will talk about it. So here, England came to control a few territories of Africa. For example, she controlled South Africa. South Africa was under England, right? She controlled Egypt. She controlled Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria. These are all important territories within Africa under the control of England. So England possessed all these areas. Then Italy. Italy possessed, Libya. Libya was under Italy. Eritrea and a part of Somalia was under Italy. So Italy had conquered all these areas. Now, France having lost Alsace and Lorraine. Alsace and Lorraine was very rich in iron ore resources, isn't it? So, having lost Alsace and Lorraine to Germany, France expressed her desire to conquer Morocco. She wanted to conquer Morocco and exploit Morocco in North Africa, which was rich in iron ore resources. And England gave France a free hand in Morocco because France had given England a free hand in Egypt. You remember the Entente Cordiale, alliance between England and France. So England gave a free hand to France in Morocco, but Germany objected. Germany told France that she's also interested in Morocco. And what Germany did is she called an international conference at a place called Algeciras in Spain. You can see on your screen, this is Algeciras. So she called an international conference at Algeciras in Spain, and she prevented the French annexation of Morocco. She prevented France from annexing Morocco. At the same time, she expressed her desire to be also sharing Morocco with France. Now, France wanted to press issues. So what France did is she sent troops into Morocco to forcibly occupy Morocco. In retaliation, Germany sent a battleship, a warship, into Morocco at a place called Agadir. So you have the so-called Agadir crisis. This is called the Agadir crisis. I repeat. So see, this is Agadir on your screen. So this is Agadir. You see this Agadir. So when France sent troops into Morocco to occupy Morocco forcibly, Germany retaliated by sending a battleship into Agadir in Morocco. And both these countries, France and Germany, were on the verge of a war with respect to Morocco. England supported France. England supported France, dual alliance between England and France. So England supported France and told Germany to get out of Morocco. England told England told Germany that if there's a war between France and Germany, England is going to support France. Now, Germany somehow tried to bully France, and she succeeded. What Germany told France is, okay, we will not show interest in Morocco, but do one thing: you give us a part of Congo. So in Africa, we have now it is called Democratic Republic of Congo, a part. So that Congo basin was under the control of France. That's called French Congo. Okay, so what Germany did is she told France, we will not put our hand in Morocco, provided you give us a part of Congo. And she bullied France and put so much pressure on France that France had to part with a part of Morocco to Germany. And that became German Congo. You can see here, German Congo. So this is called competitive capitalism and colonialism among European powers. Did you understand? Competitive colonialism and capitalism among European powers. Clear? We'll do it tomorrow. Okay, we'll continue this topic tomorrow. Very interesting. And then we'll come to Russian Revolution. Right, carry on. We will meet tomorrow at the same time. You have a good night's sleep. Please revise the PPTs. Go through it once or twice at leisure. And you come back and we will discuss it tomorrow. Okay, good night. Thank you. I'm logging out. I hope you enjoyed the session. Europe, Eastern question, I gave you a broad picture of Eastern question, but I told you also to remember only a few things. Everything is not important, but I have given you the big picture. And I also told you how the alliance system came into existence, right? You don't need to explain entire alliance system. You just have to tell that alliance system was the work of Bismarck. He wanted to isolate France, and therefore he established a triple alliance consisting of these three. Unless UPSC will specifically ask, they'll not ask you, don't worry. They'll not ask you how the alliance system came into existence, the details of it. Anyway, I have discussed that. Okay, thank you very much. No, it's okay, Sakshi. It's okay. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. I'm logging out.